All right, we're live with another Cartridge Club Hangout. I've got Musty, Caleb Jaros, and VG Collectaholic here. How you guys doing?
Good. Hey, the notification worked.
Huzzah!
If you click the bell, it works.
Good to know that something's working.
You probably might be hearing an echo from my end. I'm gonna fix that here real quick.
Not hearing an echo, it's fine.
We've had worse echoes. Don't worry about.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm being kind of an idiot here. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to use headphones, and then I realize, well, I kind of need headphones.
Yep.
That you guys. Yep. So.
I think that happens to literally everybody who joins this call for the first time.
Well, good.
Hey, Duke.
What's up?
Hello.
We're live now. You're back for the third time. How's it going?
I feel liver now. Good. How's everybody?
Pretty good.
Not too shabby.
Good.
Oh man, this is my first time on one of these. I don't know if it's anyone else's first time either. So
this is my first time in a long time.
Yeah, and I don't think Scott's been on before, or at least it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah, oh yeah, you have been on before.
Yep.
He's very forgettable.
I like that Caleb's cat is licking itself in the background, making a cameo appearance back there.
I know. Aren't you jealous?
Yeah, now we get to see what it's like behind the scenes of the Masters of Unlocking.
Does that count as the porn you were alluding to, Fitnat?
No.
Okay.
And for context, we've had people troll the Hangouts previously with porn, so that's why there's security features in place now.
Cat licking itself gets through, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
That gets past the algorithm.
It's a classy establishment.
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw her start to vomit all over herself. She's been doing that a lot lately. So
we'll leave that for bonus content.
Ooh, it's like Animal Planet.
Love those shelves, Musty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really, really happy with them. Actually, I should.
Did you just think of that? Did you just think of that concept? Like, because I'd never seen shelves like that before. So you can claim that it was your idea if you want.
No, I won't. I won't. I took credit. I'm taking credit from, or I take credit for the idea. Give that to Canadian Retro.
Mm-hmm.
He took the idea from some other YouTuber as well, but it's been handed down a few times. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out. And then all of the stuff that's coming for the bottom down here shipped. I got notice today that it shipped. So
is that those IKEA cube things? Is that what's going on there?
The Kallax, like the 2x2. So I'll have a stack of 2 from all the way here, all the way to the end. Easy lights, all the way to the end of the wall. So this entire thing will be cubes, and then I'll decide which ones get doors, which ones get drawers, which ones get the like fabric bins. But I've got a couple boxes of books and magazines that'll fit really nicely in that shape, and then I think I might put consoles that I don't have like connected in that space permitting. We'll see. But I've actually made a little bit of progress with the artwork that I got from Midwest. Take you on a little tour up here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just my connection, but you guys are breaking up real bad.
It might just be you. I'm not getting any problems.
But yeah, so the amiibo, like I've got all the Metroid ones in that Samus picture. I have all my Zelda ones in front of the Link and Zelda picture. I have my Omni tool from Mass Effect in front of Tali, and then I've got my Funkos in front of Tracer. But yeah, little steps. It needs better lighting. I'm not going to ignore that fact that it needs much better lighting. You can stop presenting me now. This is not riveting.
Okay.
Probably gonna make somebody sick too.
Whoa.
I'm going to go see if my daughter's streaming. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh, streaming, not screaming. I thought I heard screaming. I was like, yeah, you might want to do that.
Yeah, depends on what they're streaming. They might be.
I guess that's true.
Anyone else have anything interesting going on this week?
Nope.
Not
Apparently
this week.
not.
Yeah,
No.
going to Chicago, I guess.
Yeah.
That's next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's on the Saturday.
The event, the time that we're blocking off is on Saturday.
Okay, I'm just asking for Hangout scheduling. So the next Tuesday, that'll be a Hangout, but the one following, maybe not, depending on timing and energy. Maybe a Wednesday Hangout in 2 weeks.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only people we lose with next Tuesday are Miles and Catherine and Travis and his wife. So,
And they're easily disposable. I think we can all agree. That was the undertone there, right?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's just them.
What is the beer du jour, Mr. Ross?
It is the 6th glass from Boulevard. It's one of my go-tos, so I love it. It's a
That's
Kansas
the
City brewery.
triple?
So
is that the
Yes.
triple? Yep.
This is a quad, actually.
Ah,
Yeah, and it's yeah, Boulevard's good. They're good. They're
I
a
like-
good brewery. You know,
I like Tank 7. That's
Tank 7's a good one. Yeah, that's probably my other go-to. If I want something a little boozy, I'll go with this
Mhm.
6th glass, and then if I want something just kind of refreshing, it's usually Tank 7. Yeah. Mm.
nom nom nom.
Trying to think of any gaming news or anything I can bring up for a topic. But
Sorry, I'm getting the chat pulled up.
I should probably allow Duke back into the call again.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
was
reset my
looking at
router.
Okay.
I'm having
Yeah.
everybody's choppy, so if it continues, I'm going to drop my video out and see if that helps.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm flipping through a pickup for later. I'll just leave that for suspense, but make sure everything's all right, unlike earlier.
Scott, Kevin is asking if you just moved.
No, this is this is my eBay room.
Yeah. So that's the
So-
stuff that he has extras of.
Yeah.
That's-
This is all overflow stuff.
That's a big
insane.
stack. That's a big stack of Xbox back there.
Yeah. There's probably a couple of hundred Xbox games back there.
Yeah,
And
so there's a couple hundred right here too.
And then behind this stack of boxes right here, there's actually a closet there that's also full of stuff to sell and trade off.
That's
I
crazy.
thought I was hoarding extras. Not even extras, just stuff I need to get rid of. I've got 2 totes of 200 or 300 games under my bed. There's just that's the purge pile. It's out of sight and out of mind, but it's not out of the house yet.
Yeah, someday I'll get rid of this stuff to the point where this room will actually be usable and presentable, but that's not really going to happen. I just keep telling myself that.
Yeah.
I think it
waiting
is-
for the opportunity to sell is the excuse for me.
I think your room looks very presentable as it is right now, Scott. I think that's. I don't see any problem with all of those games.
This
and
is why
being lost in them.
This is why we host a podcast, not a YouTube channel.
I don't know. There's probably an audience for a hoarder meets
I
cat
was
butt
going to say
licking.
there's got to be a TLC show or something that you guys can put together.
You might find a few dead cats under your pile of stuff, and
Yeah.
hey, my cat might be sleeping on a game, so it's sort of yin and yang. She's not, though. I checked. I check every morning. I'm like, please let this be the morning. Nope. Still disappoint me, cat.
It's like the cat that lays the golden game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just look under the cat and you find Billy Hatcher. What the hell's going on here?
This is how crazy I am is I would not be like impressed. I'd be like, you were hiding this from me, Kat, the whole time. You ass. That's kind of how I would approach, I think, the goose laid the golden egg too. I'm like, you could do this the whole time. Like, why did you wait? That's so mean.
Yeah, you've been holding out on me. Holding out on me.
I've been feeding you all these years, and this is the thanks I get.
That's what I always think about. Like, whenever I watch holiday movies, there's always like the Christmas movie that's like Santa's real, you know, kind of thing. And all the parents and the adults are finding out that Santa's real at the same time that the kids are. The Elf is a good example of one that I watched recently. So it's like all these kids are like, wow, these adults are like, wow, Santa's real, which forces the parent to think, why was I buying the Christmas presents for the past 13 years? Like, this is Santa, you're a jerk. That
actually reminds me, if anyone's a fan of the Netflix Power Man, nope, not Power Man, Luke Cage, comic book mind to TV mind. Luke Cage used to be Power Man in the comics. So if anyone's a fan of that, there's a Power Man and Iron Fist comic. Iron Fist is good in the comics, I swear. Where they had a Christmas annual called the Power Man and Iron Fist Sweet Christmas. And I'll just say stuff with Santa happens in that, and it's amazing. Just minor spoiler for that. I won't get into how, but you should read that. Like, you can just get a trial on Marvel Unlimited and find that. It's a decent read.
You obviously don't know me well enough if you say stuff happens with Santa and you leave it at that and expect me not to.
Yeah.
Think of crazy weird stuff. So then when I see what actually happens, I'm going to be very disappointed, I'm sure.
Yeah. I just like that they called it Sweet Christmas. That's just perfect. That book started in the 70s. How did it take them that long?
The 70s, there was lots of stuff going on then. They had quite a list of things they could get to, I'm sure.
I was just a minute ago, I was like, what the heck gaming stuff happened this week that I could possibly talk about? Freaking Uncharted fan film. What did everyone think?
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I gotta say,
but please talk about it. Sorry.
Well,
that's not a la thing. I haven't
nothing,
played anything but the first game. So
right, and there's nothing spoiler about it. I mean, it's exactly what you think it'd be. But it was funny enough. But I couldn't watch an hour and a half of it. You know, they'd have to really do some fun stuff with it to make it worthwhile.
Despite loving both Uncharted and Nathan Fillion, I was underwhelmed.
Yeah, it's like you temper your expectations for a fan film on that, but but it was pretty high quality as far as that goes. Hey, BCom in the chat. Anyway, it's yeah, my only like nitpicks with it were it was a little too much with the gamey stuff at points, like with the camera angles. It's like, I get the reference, but this isn't the first person shooter segment of the Doom movie. It's not so much fun because it's already in third person. It's a movie.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I would have preferred like an allusion to that, but like different, more interesting camera angles. But that was still fun. They didn't do it for too long.
Right. And if they were to stretch it out into a full length of film, I doubt they do it all the time. So because we saw it for, 5% of the trailer, that'd be different. If it was 5% of the film, that'd be then pretty annoying probably.
Yeah. It's just like, relative to the length of it and just kind of the basically lack of budget, I'm sure it was really high quality and really good. A good proof of concept for if they were to do a full movie out of that. Yeah. And they had time to cast like not more appropriate actors for the other roles other than Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake. Those other actors weren't bad. It's just like they didn't fit as well, so it made them stand out a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're both fine as the characters, but like especially the guy that plays Sully is pretty good. But it just like them not quite matching the roles from the games makes it stand out even further, just considering how hard Nathan Fillion hits that nail.
Was El Tigre the kid from Sister? No.
I have no idea.
God, there was an old movie I swear that he was in, or was he one of the kids in the Cosby Show?
You are hitting all points of reference that I do not understand. So I
You don't
cannot
understand
help you.
the Cosby Show? Like you're
No,
not familiar?
I am
with it?
aware of the Cosby
Okay.
Show, but if I have ever watched it, I remember nothing.
Oh, not even Lisa Bonet. Sorry.
No.
Oh, that's your loss right there.
I certainly remember it.
I'm trying to think who I know. Like, okay, I'm just gonna say El Tigre. Sorry, keep going. I'm gonna find this out on my own. This is my own personal journey now.
Yeah, I also listened to that short interview with Nathan Fillion on Kotaku, and that was a decent listen. So it's the same length as the short film, so you're not really out a whole lot of time listening to that. But as you get a little bit of story about the making of that and some stuff about Destiny 2. Like the fact that that was not Nathan Fillion in that Forsaken trailer doing the voice.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Who it actually is kind of amusing.
Nolan.
Yeah. Yeah, shock, it's Nolan North.
Christopher Nolan.
Entertainment Weekly's got an article up right now that talks about them getting contacted by a couple of different avenues about making the Uncharted fan film into like a digital series.
That could work.
Like Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Yeah, or the Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Yeah, or the whatever the Street Fighter one was. That short film is already probably a lot higher quality, just filming wise, than both of those. But I've not really watched them, so I don't have a point of reference. Just everything the little I've seen.
Mortal Kombat Legacy was pretty high quality.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. It's just like the Uncharted short film was pretty impressive. Just in terms of craft relative to the size and scale of it.
It was Ernie Reyes Jr., of course. He was not in The Cosby Show. I could be pretty confident. He was in Surf Ninjas, though. That's where I knew him from. Surf Ninjas.
He was Bill Cosby's Hispanic son. The Lost Levels of The Cosby Show.
Surf Ninjas. Yep, that was it. Rob Schneider's best performance ever in that movie.
High bar.
Well, he was also only in it for like 10 minutes, so that helped.
Yeah, that already probably makes it better than Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
This is not worth doing right now. I was still flipping through that darn thing. Yes, we still haven't gone long enough to justify doing pickups now, but shortly.
What days are you guys getting into Chicago?
Thursday morning.
Same here. Thursday morning.
Friday morning for me.
Friday morning for me, too.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know when I'm going to entirely shift gears into Chicago talk, but seems like a good idea. Maybe.
Why not?
Fine by me.
Yeah, so check-in on the airport or check-in at the hotel is not until the afternoon. So Duke, I was thinking from the timing that Dean and I have, because I'm picking Dean up at the airport, we were thinking of going straight downtown from there and just going to the I think Travis and his wife and then Catherine and Miles are going to be at the Field Museum in the morning, and then I think they were going to go to the aquarium along with us. So depending on what time it is, you can either just all meet at the aquarium, or I don't know if they'll still be at the Field Museum by the time we get around or when you get around.
Sure.
But then that way you're not driving all the way up to Skokie, sitting and waiting and then coming down because the aquarium closes at like 6 anyways. So
Yeah. I'm not familiar with Chicago at all. So I know that we're coming in the airport that isn't close to Skokie, I guess.
O'Hare, probably.
So there's Midway and O'Hare.
I think it's O'Hare. I think.
Yep. So O'Hare's the same airport that Dean's flying into.
Okay. And I think our flight.
I shouldn't announce all of Dean's flight schedules, but
all the paparazzi there waiting for him.
Right.
I actually gain an hour in flight. So actually, it's an hour and 45-minute flight, but I'll get there 45 minutes after I leave. So, so that helps out a little bit. But I think our flight is at 9 something in the morning, so we'll be there, around 10 o'clock, I believe, in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, because I think it's like 10:30 for him. It's like a 40-minute drive downtown. So I mean, we could potentially caravan or just, we're going to the same spot. So
And my wife has done all the organizing, so we are renting a vehicle, but I'm not sure how that works. Like if we're getting that at the airport, we got to go. I'm not sure how all that stuff works. Yeah, probably.
I would. There's
really no other way, I guess, unless we walk somewhere. So
they'll pick you up.
I'm assuming we'll have a vehicle there at the airport. But again, my wife, she's the organizer of the family, so she'll be doing all that stuff.
And the public transport in Chicago, I'm pretty familiar with Chicago. I try to get up there every year. So public transport is awesome, but I think the hotel we're at is like one of the few areas where there's not a direct L line. Does anyone else confirm that?
There is a yellow. Yellow line is it's a mile and a half away.
Oh, so that's not a bad walk.
It's not a bad walk. Or you could. I was almost wondering, considering our numbers, if they would be willing to take one of the shuttles and just drop us off at the L.
Yeah, I would.
That'd be cool.
Worth asking.
Yeah.
Caleb, you're getting in Friday morning?
Friday morning, yeah.
Are you flying up or driving up?
Flying, yes.
To O'Hare?
Midway, actually. Well, which one does Southwest go into?
Midway.
Midway, yes. So, yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, screw you then.
I know, I'm terrible. Are you driving or flying? I thought you were driving at one point.
I'm flying.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I picked the right airline then. I don't want your stink.
That's right.
Kidding. I want your stink.
But yeah, so
what's the plan for during the day on Friday? Are people doing anything coordinated?
I don't know. I know that Melissa was working on getting Lou's lined up. I don't know if there's still talk on that. She's here. Maybe she can comment. But I think she was looking at getting Lou's sometime in the mid-afternoon so that those who were going to go to the baseball game can get on whatever type of transportation they need to in time.
Is that the pizza joint she's been?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
So that's. Oh, she might hop in here.
It's the place where in the basement.
That'll help. Then I don't have to speculate. Sorry, Caleb. What were you saying?
I was just saying there was a basement. There was a fight club in the basement of Lou's, according to the movie, anyway. Lou, we like this place.
It's good stuff. And then they were talking about doing the other Chicago-style pizza place on Saturday so that we can have a true showdown.
The more pizza, the better.
Yeah. That deep dish takes a long time to cook, so you'll be quite drunk by the time it even arrives, which is probably how you can credit most of the good taste. I love deep dish pizza, but that's probably part of it. You're already half tanked whenever it arrives, and of course it's going to taste great.
I'm not used to deep dish pizza here in Maryland. We usually have the thin stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's that's you guys are second fiddle to the food, so no, it'll be good. So yeah. On Friday, my biggest thing is I'm paranoid about sitting in my hotel room alone, being like, where is everybody? Where'd everybody go?
Yeah. So I know there was talk of, okay, for those, because I think none of us here are baseball game people. There was talk of going thrifting or hitting up game shops or just, I mean, there's a pool at the place, right? I mean, like we can even just chill out at the hotel. I don't know that we need to necessarily tie ourselves to a location.
Sure.
But I know that some people wanted to go and kind of check those things out. And there's a lot of let me pull up my document.
Was there's a lot of people, right? Is that what you're pulling up, or no? You're pulling up the things to do, probably.
Well,
right?
so like half of the people are going to the baseball game, but that means there's still like 16 people doing other things, and so it's a matter of, are we going to descend upon these thrift shops and just be like combing everything?
I'm not big into thrifting, but I'd be up for game hunting or arcading or something like that. But
yeah,
whatever. Again, I think there'll be enough of us, even if we split up in smaller groups, to hang out in some way. Yeah,
and there's some stuff in the area. Like I mentioned, there's a Chuck E. Cheese across the street.
Perfect.
But I mean, there's other options too. Like I said, we're a mile and a half from the L, which would allow us to get to wherever we would want to go. So there's, granted, the way that the train system works, everything basically comes down to the loop, and then they radiate again outward. So if we're on the yellow, if we have a location that we want that's along the yellow line, great. If we have a location that's on like the blue line, then we might want to just weigh time, because we'd have to ride that train all the way down to the loop and then all the way back up to where that location is. Like some of the arcade options that I put down, which are bars, I should preface that those are bars, are along the blue line. The two in Logan's, or the Logan Square and the Wicker Park one, are both pretty awesome. And I know that Chris, the old ass retro gamer, lives near the Logan arcade, and he says that one's really cool too. So there's a few different spots. There's also that gaming lounge that I brought up. And then Caleb, you brought up Twincade, and
it's a ways out. Yeah,
it's a hike.
Yeah, it's a
but,
hike.
I mean,
if I was there for the full time, I would probably, because the guy who owns it, he and I have been corresponding online for a while. He found me through my YouTube channel, and so he was like, I don't think he realized that I'm not a big deal, because he was like, man, I'll pay for your flight up here. I'll pay for you to get here. And so I had to kind of let him know that that's not necessary. So then he was like, well, can I come and hang out with you guys? Because he's enamored by the idea of Cartridge Club. I told him that he should probably set up a profile first and like introduce himself to the people. And I don't think he ever did that. So I'm not married to going down there by any means. So.
Hey, Melissa.
People were mentioning it. Is that far from? Hey, Melissa.
I tried to get on my profile. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Is that better?
Yep.
I tried to get on my profile, but my computer needed a plug-in, so I switched to Eric, and he will probably switch on mine soon.
You're gonna confuse us now.
I know.
It's never anyone's proper account. Don't worry about it.
I heard you talking about me.
Well, I didn't want to speculate about Luz.
Okay. I came in and interrupted you guys talking about something, so you guys can finish that conversation.
Oh no, we were talking about Caleb being a high roller and getting people wanting to pay his way for things.
Yes, yes.
But no, I mean, he should, even if he's just looking for advertising potential, I mean it doesn't hurt.
No, I think he's pretty genuine. Like, he has his own dedicated channel where he does reviews. That's kind of not even part of his arcade or his barcade or anything like that. He's a genuine guy, but I also kind of wanted him to, put in the effort to sort of introduce himself beforehand, and so.
So where is the I know people were talking about a Galloping Ghost. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what is that? An arcade?
That is kind of the arcade. Whenever you hear like the Arcade Impossible guys talk about the big arcade in the area, that's the one.
Is that close?
It's 40 minutes.
Close?
It's 40 minutes.
Okay.
It's a 40-minute drive. It
sure
depends
Oh,
on
yes.
like you said, you'll have a car, so it's just a matter of getting there. I know that some were talking about wanting to do that after the Saturday stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on, I want to correct Chris here in the chat. It's north of Chicago, not south of Chicago.
Yeah, north of Chicago, you better be able to swim, I guess.
South of Chicago, we better all be packing.
Oh, that's right. Might as well just go to Twincade then, right?
Yeah,
so you can bring my zapper with if we're going to the south side.
I wouldn't rob you if I saw you with a zapper, just because it's hilarious.
Especially now they've got a problem going on with the shooting that just happened, the officer involved shooting.
Wah wah.
Oh, don't do that.
I know, it's not good.
Is Chicago safe? It does have a bit of a reputation.
Well, it's not Baltimore.
Not that Baltimore doesn't. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty safe, right? I mean, I know if you stay down in the loop, I mean, the loop is
yeah. I think anywhere that we've pointed people,
with the exception of the baseball stadium.
Well, sure, but here's the important part: get off the train, go straight into the park. When you leave, go right back onto the train. Just make sure you get on the one that's going in the right direction.
And is this at Wrigley? Is that right?
No,
it's at,
cellular one or whatever it's
guaranteed rate field.
Rate with a T, right? Okay.
Rate. Yes.
Okay.
It's different if you don't get right back on the bus.
Oh no!
Oh man!
Just making sure I heard correctly. That's all.
Maybe we'll just stay in the hotel. No, it's not good.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Skokie's fine. There's nothing to worry about there, and
Just wear your fanny pack.
Yeah.
They'll leave you alone if you put your fanny pack on.
We may be criminals, but we're not animals. Okay, we're not gonna. I think for family stuff though, like if you go down in the loop and just kind of walk around and have fun, you'll probably find tons of stuff. Like the museum is a really, really good museum. Every time I go to Chicago, I try to get there. And yeah, so that'll kill a few hours just with the family right there easily.
And they have a new dinosaur on exhibit at the Field Museum, the Titanosaur.
That's not real name.
It is real.
Made that up.
His name is Maximo. I'm not kidding. He's 121 feet long from nose to tail.
They're just putting bones together now. That's not real.
So are you guys doing the Field Museum and the aquarium on Thursday?
I think so. I mean, they're right next to each other. I know that, like I said, I know that Catherine and Miles and Travis and Tracy, I believe that's his wife's name, are going to be down there already. I think they are going to be doing the Field Museum. So timing wise, conveniently, I get in free of the Field Museum. So if we got down there early enough and they were still there, I would go in. I could probably bring a couple people with me, but I can't bring everybody. I can only convince so many of them, or I can only convince them that so many of you are my brothers or sisters. So, but yeah, thanks. Work gets me in there. Sponsor.
Cool. Nice. I got to check out this workplace. It sounds cool.
Work is awesome.
Work you speak up.
I don't know. They gave me all of this.
Wow. I'm gonna go give a 5-star review to work. I'll be right.
But if not, they were saying that once they were done, then we'd hit the aquarium. So Duke, when you probably heard 2 locations, you're probably cringing there for a second because that's a lot of tickets. But the aquarium is great. Like I adore the Shed Aquarium, and
Yeah, we definitely are interested in that, and even the museum as well. You know, if there's time and everybody else goes, we'll be up for that for sure.
Okay.
I'm trying to make this kind of a semi-learning trip too, since we're going to be there for a couple of days. So
for sure,
the kids.
For sure. Yeah, they've got some really nice exhibits. They have a bunch of mummies. So there's a whole like Egypt exhibit. And what else is there?
The priority is hanging out with club members. So whatever the most people do, that's what we're going to do. We'll just kind of go with the flow.
We try and reenact Castlevania at the Field Museum because we got a bunch of like bones, and then we got.
Cool. Can you whip candles?
They have candles.
They get mad when you knock the bones into a pile, though. They frown on that.
The red ones get back up.
I just pictured them melding between Scooby-Doo and Simon's Quest. It wasn't pleasant.
Can anybody please like cosplay as a character from Castlevania and just ask the security guards random questions about the bones? Like those various questions. Like, is there a heart there though, or like a steak dinner or whatever it is?
They probably think you stole the loincloth from the museum, so that might be a little risky.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't let you in with like a giant chain whip, I'm guessing. So
yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Unless it had a wallet or some keys on it, maybe.
That's how you get away with it.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, and that's like you said, we a lot of our goal here is to hang out, not necessarily. For some, yes, I don't want to say no sightseeing, like, because that's rude of me. Right? just because I live close enough to it that I can go there, a few times a year doesn't mean that other people shouldn't have a chance to do exactly that. So,
and I imagine probably will we have. I'm guessing there'll be like one channel in the Discord that sort of defaults to, hey, this is what we're all doing, probably. So if like you're ever like, where are people going? Because there's gonna be a lot of people there, right? Like you said earlier, must be like 30 some people or something like that. Like yeah. So obviously not everyone's gonna be able to do everything at the same time. So I'm guessing it'll probably be check the Discord, like this is where people are going. Okay, I'll go and do that as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably the CC Chicago under conventions. In there, we'll probably just default to that on the days.
Echo, right? No.
Yeah, probably.
I think I heard two dorks there. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, his microphone. Hello. There you go.
I muted because she started talking. She's like, the microphone's muted, right?
She wasn't wrong.
If this is feedback or not.
You need to ask first, then you talk. That's what I do. Are you muted?
He was concerned about feedback.
Uh-huh.
We'll give you plenty. Don't worry.
All good, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I know Eric had taken the file that Chris had started and was shifting the kind of layout to make that a little bit better, so that for those things like the baseball game or those kind of bigger tent pole things, that people could get coordinated on those now. So it's not like not a coin flip in the moment. Of course, a baseball game obviously requires a little more coordination than. Although I bet you could get tickets when you don't have them. Would you want to, though? That's the other question.
So, we haven't locked down the baseball game on our end. I should say, and this is going to be news to some people from our other Twitter conversation, we're actually not going to go to the game Friday night. I talked to my brother about it, and he had some plans with the girls. He wanted to do something with the girls at a game, and so Friday's not going to work for us going to the game. But I know that some of the others still wanted to go, so they might still be going besides Catherine and Travis and their group. So I don't know why I said that, but
you want to go thrifting with us, don't you?
So the other thing about Lou's, so the thing about Lou's is we need to put down a deposit there's a $50 deposit to put down that isn't refundable after Friday. So we need to, I guess, just decide if we want to commit to having the room and doing a set menu and figuring it's probably going to be closer to like $28 or $30 per person, because if you figure like $20 per person plus tax plus gratuity, which are about 20%, you figure maybe 20% each, just to buffer it. Or we can go and just kind of like go in groups and be like, hey, we've got a group of 10, can you seat us? And hey, we got a group of 10. Or we could try to call in different reservations maybe for 3 different groups of 10. I don't know what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'd say the majority would dictate that. I guess. I mean, for us, that's a hefty dinner price for 5 people.
Yes.
$30 some dollars, $30 a piece or whatever. But
right.
I mean, if that's what everybody wants to do, we'll do it. But that's a lot for pizza. But it's not a lot to spend on to hang out at the Cartridge Club for a night. So it'll be worth it if that's what everybody wants to do, for sure.
I gotta think if we just go in and get a bunch of tables of 8, 9, 10, we'll be close enough together that we can still
kind of what we did in
Barry,
where we had separate tables, but we'd like rotate out. Like you finish eating, you just hang out, right?
Graze. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point they'll say, okay,
Yeah.
You can't be there all night. Other people.
Yeah.
Now is the other thing a separate room? You said, Melissa. Like private room?
So this would be a private room. I think it is downstairs. In fact.
Well, I mean that's you're kind of paying for that too. So I mean.
Right.
The other advantage to that is that they'll probably have the food more ready for us in that case. Whereas if we just walk in, then we're sitting for.
I think it is downstairs. In fact.
And what's the time limit for that? Was 2 hours? You said.
Yeah, and it's a time limit of 2 hours, and it's a $600 minimum.
What's going on? Can you hear us
talking?
Laptop. Sorry, can you guys see?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I think that's yours.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can hear that.
Sorry. I think 1980's messing with me or something.
Eric can't get on the
time. I'm in a time loop.
Eric can't get on the computer.
Relive the last 30 seconds so you can break the time loop.
Sorry about that.
Wasn't there if we did the room, wasn't there something like it was a limit of 3 pizza types or something? That might be a little narrow for 30 some people. Just
so that was the other thing. Like their menu, it was like like for I think it was $10.95. You could get a stuffed cheese and sausage, stuffed pepperoni, and she said you could like add another type of pizza. For like $1.05 per person, and then and you could like switch out, like let's say you did 2 stuff, a thin crust, and then a third stuff if you want to add that for $1 kind of a thing. So and then like the next menu up, I think they had like they included like the Chicago special stuffed pizza and a cheese and a pepperoni, I want to say, and then the following one was like Lou's special. Like, so yeah, it kind of.
I mean, personally, I think that I wouldn't care about that. I mean, I think if we're all in the same room having a great time, I don't think we're gonna be picky about what we're eating that much. At least I wouldn't be. I think the experience is what we're going for. At least that's what I would think. So, I mean, I certainly wouldn't care about a semi.
Yeah, in a way, it sucks to pay extra for a limited menu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, we're also going to be able to all sit together, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think the idea of trying to get all the tables. I mean, I'd feel apprehensive about disturbing other patrons and running around the place trying to meet up with everybody through other people and stuff like that. So
yeah, I've never been there, so I don't know how the restaurant is laid out to be able to be like, you know what, we could totally, take over the restaurant, no problem.
Plus, some of us might have to wait, and others may not. It might be all off time, so that's another problem we might run into trying to do it that way. So yeah, it might cost a little bit more. It might have a limited menu, but to me, again, if we all get to go to the same room and for a couple hours and have a good time, it might be worth it for me. But again, I'm go with the flow. What everybody else wants to do, majority rules, I guess, or something like this.
The alcohol was included in the $30 thing, right? It's not like they exclude that for some reason.
We did. 1 second.
Sorry, Derek, I didn't hear your question.
I was just curious if they were a little bit tricky and excluded alcohol from that minimum price kind of thing, because I could see places doing that.
I think someone mentioned in the chat that any drinks were going toward the minimum guarantee.
Okay. I was just curious because alcohol is often treated special, you know?
It is pretty special.
I mean, they have a like bar, so it's not like you couldn't just say people will take care of their drinks. Like maybe you could ask them to just. They may actually make more money by doing it that way than just saying here, unlimited.
Yeah, none of us will drink, so I don't care. I mean, if my part of what I'm paying for goes for other people's drinks, I don't care about that. So, but yeah, if it's that price includes drinks, then
I don't think it was a price. It was like a minimum that you had to spend, right? And then I think it was any drinks that people bought would go toward that minimum that we all collectively had to spend.
I was just making sure that the drinks did count towards them and weren't somehow excluded.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're gonna have a pretty big group potentially, right? Like 30, almost all of us.
Be like 34, 36.
Yeah.
Is that all for Friday? Because this is Friday night we're talking, right? For Lose?
I don't know.
Yeah, Friday night. I think it was
I think it was Friday night.
That's what's in the outline or the schedule that we're kind of, roughly using.
I saw Melissa talking. You're on.
Yeah. No, we on the Hangout.
On the Hangout.
There you go.
There you go. Okay. Sorry. So, sorry. We had a private conversation and then tried to get back in. So it sounds like the consensus is let's do the room and let's figure out a menu and go with it. Is that right?
Yep. That's what I say.
Okay. All right, then I'll do that. And then maybe what we'll do is we'll just have we won't do alcohol and you'll be on your own for alcohol. And like you just order it through the server so it counts towards the 600 and then you just have to pay, and everyone will just have to pay me because they will only they'll allow 2 forms of payment. And but I don't see why we would need to do that really.
Okay.
Cool.
So we could just figure out payment after that. Does that sound good?
For me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I also called Giordano's in Westchester. I was just thinking ahead. If we're going to go to Galloping Ghosts, which is in Brookfield, the Westchester one is very close. That we go to that one all the time personally because my dad is in Brookfield. So, and it has a basement location, a basement room as well. And they seemed much more flexible. There was a $200 minimum. It was whatever you wanted to order, you order, and it gets put on the bill. Or you could go with a set menu, but you didn't have to go with the set menu. So then we could order a much bigger variety of pizzas and other foods and just do it that way.
Excellent.
So, and they had a deposit. And she said that there wasn't a fee for backing out, but I'm not sure I trust her, so I'm calling again tomorrow.
Isn't that what a deposit is?
Yeah. So I don't know, because the other thing though too is their deposit was much higher, and so maybe it's true, but I don't know. Anyway.
So one question I have about what a deposit is.
Should you do Giordano? Are people
Time loop.
2 days in a row?
Time loop again.
Was much higher, It should be muted, right? Is it muted? Okay. What?
Are you muted?
I think so. Yeah.
No, you're
Hey,
not.
is she muted, guys?
No.
Hey, guys.
No, nope.
Are you serious?
I mean,
Even
yes,
in that-
yes, you are.
Even
Now
in
you're
that
muted.
last
You are.
conversation, I had to mute you for you.
All right, now they're muted.
Yeah.
You did it again?
No. Last time was a safety thing because I figured they were probably having a private conversation.
Yeah.
So
Oh, just-
the comment I was going to make about Saturday is I don't know that, like, there's a lot of people who are saying they want to go to Galloping Ghosts. I don't know that everyone necessarily wants to go to Galloping Ghosts. So I could go either way. Like I don't. But if everyone's going, I'll go. But I mean, like I could just chill. Like
I'd be fine with any arcade if we were going to do something like that. It doesn't have to be Galloping Ghost, which someone said is like 45 minutes away.
mhm.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with
any
anywhere,
arcade.
like Dave and Buster's or
Yep.
a barcade, even just somewhere to hang out and maybe play some games together on arcades, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing I want to make sure is that those who have we're not putting the people who have children with in a spot where they need to
Yeah,
not
that's a good
be
point.
part of the festivities. So why a place like Dave and Buster's would be, I think, more ideal because
Yeah, I just don't know what's anywhere, right?
Yeah.
What's located near the hotel. I can
Yeah.
search, but I mean,
yeah. So there's go to Chuck E. Cheese. Just kidding.
Chuck E. Cheese doesn't have arcade games anymore. It's the stupid ticket machines. Like, so. when I was a
Oh, at least
kid,
you
they
can
were
walk away
arcade.
winning something.
it's different.
Apps.
And ours may have changed since we were there
I'm
last.
talking.
And the other thing too is I don't know if people want to do pizza 2 days in a row. Like, does everyone want to do the stuffed pizza challenge? Because then, if Giordano's is, because then I'm going to throw this out there too. If Giordano's is more flexible, maybe we find a Giordano's and do that instead on Friday, or we do something else different Friday and we only do pizza on Saturday. I don't know.
I mean, if you do it right, doesn't everyone do pizza 2 days in a row?
Well, I don't think Kevin does, but
And
That was a leftover joke.
for some of us, there are some of us who are going to be there through Sunday too. So it's like if one big pizza event is enough for some, like it's not like a smaller group couldn't go on Sunday. I know that there were some people. Bill, I know, really wanted to try both.
okay.
But considering the number of locations that Bill was also interested in eating at, I don't know if there are enough meals.
Enough meals in the day.
We can always make more meals.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Right? Yeah, because I mean, so far, just in the locations we brought up last week, I added 3 things to this list.
Well, there's breakfast and second breakfast and 11
11Cs, yeah. We'll go to White Castle for 11Cs. How about that?
Like 11 p.m. Z's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. But no, we got Portillo's, White Castle, Super Dog, Mr. Beef. Ryan brought up the Billy Goat Bar. And then there's both Lou's and Giordano's. And so that's stacking up pretty quick. But a place like, Portillo's is there's probably one that's fairly close.
Portillo's. The best part about Portillo's is that I would eat anything on that menu, like anything. It's not just like, oh, you can only go and like just get the hot dogs. Like whatever you pick is gonna be.
That was specific.
Like awesome. That's all. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what Ryan says.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah, Ryan put an upside down super happy face. So he actually liked that. I think that's what that means.
So good, his eyes have shifted to the bottom of
Yeah.
his face.
He's passed out from like a full stomach. I think.
Ryan
down the whole bottle of
Ryan wants
ketchup.
to claim that they're gross. I don't believe him because I don't know.
Because it's Ryan. kidding.
Yeah, there you go. Portillo's is an 11-minute drive from the hotel.
Okay.
There's a Dave and Buster's near the airport that's 19 minutes from the hotel too.
Mhm.
Just like
There's also a Dave and Buster's like downtown by Navy Pier if you wanted to be close to the lake or something.
When you're staring at a screen. Gotta be
Well,
close to
I
the
mean,
lake.
like if you wanted to go down there and see like Millennium Park at night or something, it'd be close enough that you could walk there.
That makes sense.
Does Dave and Buster's have like older arcade games too, like classic games, or just new stuff?
probably mostly new, right?
New stuff, yeah. New stuff, and then also like modern
got, like,
takes
light
of
guns.
old stuff. Like they have like the world's biggest Galaga machine or so, so it's like it's not
Yeah.
actually retro stuff. So
Yeah.
it's fun for kids like it, but your kids obviously they're schooled in retro stuff, so they might not be as impressed but as other kids might be, but
They
yeah.
probably have fun. They like the food. What do you call it? The bowling ball thing again? The
Skee ball.
skee ball.
Yeah.
They like that stuff and air hockey, and they'll have.
Yeah, they have some of that. They have a lot
I'm
of that
sure they
stuff,
all
too,
have
so.
skee ball. Yeah.
There's a lot of light gun stuff too. Like they have Time
Yeah.
Crisis and
That's
some of those like multi-station light gun shooters.
How about Mario Kart?
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was pretty good at Dave and Buster's.
Um,
Just played it more, but
I could throw out another potential location, but it's past the airport. There is a location by Woodfield Mall called 127. Why do you call it 127? Do you ask? Because that is, oh no, 257. My bad, 257.
You
Because-
got one of the right letter
I
numbers.
was pretty close. That was about half of it. So 257. If you're familiar with Pac-Man, 255 was the last level. 256 was the kill screen. 257 is what happens when you get past it. And so this is it is a part bowling alley, part arcade, part like a gourmet restaurant. But they do like the cards. They do the Dave and Buster's kind of thing, but there's not the ticket redemption stuff. It is arcades, and it's Namco arcades. So they
That's
usually
cool.
have some pretty cool stuff. Like they had a Soul Calibur machine, like original Soul Calibur machine there the last time I went. But yeah, they do have a whole lineup of old stuff as well. So that is another potential option that is kid friendly, also offers bowling. Throw that out there.
it says
That
about
sounds cool.
26 minutes from the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's by the largest I'm gonna say the largest mall in the country by square footage of the lot that it's on. But Mall of America is bigger.
It sounds
or
like
has
technicality.
It is a technicality. It makes it makes us feel good.
You are
Mall
technically
competition.
correct. The best kind of correct.
The competitive
Comes-
mall world is cutthroat.
Come see Chicago's fantastic giant parking lot.
It is a pretty big parking lot. But yeah, so the place that I've been there multiple times. I really like it. It's where I got that Pac-Man polo shirt that I wore or have worn.
That's definitely enticing to me. That sounds really cool to me.
Yeah. Just the fact that the name is sort of an in-joke. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
It's actually a closer drive than I thought it would be. So 26 minutes isn't so bad.
It's
You don't
faster
have
if you
you
eat the
don't
big
have
pill.
to do food. It'd be something that like if we throw Saturday out there, right? Like I know some people want to go Galloping Ghosts, but like if people wanted to go there, maybe grab food on the way, and then just go for the arcade part or all of the other stuff, that would be something we could do. And they do the like per hour cards, so you're not working off of credits. You're working off of I've got an hour or I have 2 hours on this card.
That's the best method for people like me who suck at games. So that's
That's right. Hashtag just beat it. But yeah.
Do you think there's going to be an opportunity for someone to actually complete an arcade game when we're there, just to have a hashtag just beat it for an actual arcade cabinet?
Dean, he'll probably do like 10.
Yeah, we'll do 10. Like
Do 2 at once.
You do have
Well,
Dragon's Lair.
Somebody talking to us with his hands on 2 different arcade machines.
He can play Space Ace and Dragon's Lair simultaneously.
Yeah, he gets one of those 2-hour cards and he beats every single machine in the place in that 2 hours.
I think that would be a great Cartridge Club like challenge. Like, just if you can beat the first level of any of the 2 games that you're trying to play simultaneously.
Yeah,
like that.
With your feet.
Impossible.
And Dean has to do Gradius and Ghosts and Goblins.
And they're on opposite sides of the room, so that's gonna...
Might take the full 2 hours, but he could probably do it.
He gets one of those birds that just.
It's cheating, but I'll allow it.
It's not save states. That's all that matters, right?
There you go.
Did that get a rise out of Eric? I don't think it did. Nope. He's no.
Is that no Eric? Yet?
Sorry. What did you say?
Someone mentioned
probably
save
too
state.
far gone now.
Oh, the save states thing. Yeah. To each their own.
He's probably distracted by a spreadsheet.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to answer some YouTube comments.
I'd be distracted by a spreadsheet too. I'm firmly in the pro spreadsheet camp. In fact, Eric and I should nerd out about spreadsheets at some point. It'll be a very interesting conversation for everyone, I'm sure.
Travis and I like them too.
Let's do it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Derek and Travis.
We'll discuss formulas and macros and it'll just be the best time ever.
The spreadcast doesn't sound right.
No.
Sheetcast?
The sheetcast. I don't know if that's any better.
You want back in?
Excelcast?
I know why the mute didn't work.
That's too narrow.
Because you were using the default mic, which is that mic.
Oh, shoot.
It's still not on, by the way.
Wait, what?
We heard it.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't muted.
Oh, okay. Sure you weren't.
We're well aware that you weren't muted.
What was the third not jokey podcast name thing you said, Derek?
I think the mute's working now.
I said Excelcast, but that kind of restricts us too much.
You couldn't go Google Sheets,
Yeah.
That eliminates all the fun talk about the differences between Google Sheets and spreadsheets. Where should I begin?
I think the saddest part is all 3 of those names.
1, 2, 3.
You go the auto sum cast.
I like it. Yeah, this is all implying that there would be an audience willing to listen to multiple episodes.
You don't need an audience.
That's true. Scott, I know that.
You could go after the Atari age market, and it could be Lotus Cast.
Oh man.
Corel cast. Mavis Beacon cast.
The named range cast. There we go.
Shelfcast 2, the sequel.
Yeah, I was going to say this group did a shelf cast. So,
what's up, Rumi?
What's up?
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
What's up? Hello.
Oh,
family time.
She said hi.
You muted her, so I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, see, I told you. I think I got the mute working now. I think. Pretty sure you guys didn't hear what I was yelling at you.
I felt it in my heart.
So do we want to do pickups now?
If you got
Sure.
any.
Okay. I've got mostly not video games, so I'll
There's one.
apparently present Derek. So
Just one. That's it.
It's a good
Okay.
one.
Nice.
I was supposed to have 2 today, but the other guy didn't come through on the Street Fighter.
Ultra or the 30th collection?
Good
That
question.
Ultra 2, whatever.
I don't even know which one it was actually. I didn't even realize it was 2 for Switch.
Yeah, so the Ultra one was last year's like April release.
It's
Gotcha.
essentially
It's Ultra.
essentially Street Fighter 2 with one
is
additional
Ultra.
character, which is Angry Ken.
There was 2. Isn't there like Violent? No, it's Violent Ken and Angry
Violent
Ryu.
Yeah, well, Angry Ryu's been in other games, so
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Doesn't
The
that
one for the
imply that
Switch you guys
normal
talking
Ryu is
about?
not angry?
Yep.
So 30th one is better. It has more games. You're saying?
It's got 11 versions.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Is
it's
this the
like
one for
10,
the
10
Switch you're
versions
talking
of
about?
Street Fighter 2 and then Street Fighter 1, right?
And
Yeah, it
Street
has
Fighter
Street
3.
Fighter
All,
1.
it's got the Street Fighter 3s in there too.
Oh, there you go.
Right. I
For
don't
the
like
Switch.
that.
It's back.
And we're back.
And we're back. That'll also imply that Ken
Dumpster
isn't
Dave just
violent
moved his
either
band.
too.
He's not violent. He just keeps doing Shoryukens. He doesn't stop. I'm spoiling Prime. Let me stop right there.
Have you guys seen? This is a very recent discovery for me, but Pete Holmes does some like Street Fighter 2 character interviews, and they're amazing. Have you guys? Does this ring a bell for anybody?
I've seen the X-Men one he's done.
Oh my god, it's so great. He is basically interviewing the various Street Fighter 2 characters for participation in the tournament, and is asking them very specific questions about why they deserve to be in the tournament. And of course, it's hilarious and really funny. So definitely look it up. I won't give you examples, but look
Who
it up.
is it?
It's fantastic. Pete Holmes.
Pete
So
Holmes.
that
Okay, I'll check
yeah,
it out.
it's really good. I
He
binged on him.
Show after Conan, and now
Yeah.
he's got a show on HBO.
Right.
Yep.
And I think this was from his show after Conan, so it might be a little bit dated. But I think
Yeah.
they were like sort of teaser intros to the show.
I know that's where he had the X-Men interview, basically, where he was Xavier and a bunch of the other ones.
That's pretty funny. I'll have to look that
Is
up.
this animated or
No,
or-
no.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
him in makeup and whatnot.
And he has
Oh,
some
okay.
pretty like famous comedians doing some of the okay, well now I can't even think of any of the names of any of the comedians, but you'll recognize them probably. So
Cool.
He used to be a writer for Conan too, if I'm correct.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so I'll do my pickups first just to get them out of the way because it's mostly not video games. There aren't that many, so I'll try and do it quickly. Only video game I picked up was Captain Toad. Looking forward to trying that. Missed it on Wii U, so that'll be nice to dig into.
You.
And now, basically just comics from here on out. But again, I'll try and keep it quick. Firstly, I went a little nuts on the special editions, so I got Batman by Grant Morrison, Volume 1, the Omnibus. So this is pretty cool. And today I got the third hardcover volume of Star Wars comic from Marvel. Haven't read any of that yet either.
It's a
But
cool cover.
But with the Batman one, I also got this beast, the Batman and Robin New 52 omnibus. This one's substantially larger.
Is that with is that Grayson as Batman or is that Bruce Wayne still?
Bruce Wayne. This is after that initial Grant Morrison one.
Gotcha.
But actually, these things are heavy. But I have two of these.
Dang.
And the reason is
Buy one,
this
get one
first
free.
one- well, you'll see if you want it after this. I do have to return it, but just for the sake of the joke, if I can manage to even heft this 7-pound beast. Yeah, it arrived like that.
Wow. Yuck. Yuck.
Somehow, in a 1,300 page omnibus, brand new sealed, that got ripped in the middle of the book. So I had to get a replacement. I need to return this one.
Good thing you looked.
But
Maybe it's
Yeah.
meta. The fight panels are so violent.
yeah, except that's a conversation,
Very meta.
so it doesn't quite work.
It's a very aggressive conversation.
Yeah, possibly. Anyway, who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
So this weekend, Sunday through tomorrow, my mother-in-law has my son, so my wife and I went out shopping, went thrifting on our own, without having to haul him around, which was a nice break. However, Nintendo games found at local secondhand shop. A couple of these, 3 of the 4 are doubles, but I grabbed them so that if there was somebody who wants them, these are the first 3 are on the table. They're not great condition wise, but 5-screw baseball.
I need it.
RBI baseball. Jaws. A little bit of a bite taken out there.
Gives it that authenticity.
That's right. And this one I am keeping. Sky Shark.
Oh, that's a fun one. Arcade.
That's a good one, yeah.
Arcade classic.
No relation to Sky Captain, I'm sure.
No. Then I had so my GameStop Power Rewards auto generates a $5 gift card every month, just based off my points. I could tell it to stop, but it kind of gives me a reason to go in and buy something. So I used that, and I picked up Moss for PSVR physical copy, which is out there. Go get it. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I'm sure in the next week.
Word when you haven't even played it.
Well, I just got it. I've been busy.
Come on.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Be right back.
I only got 1 or 2, so I can go next if you guys want.
Sure.
Go ahead. I'll be right back.
I just got this just yesterday. I showed it on Twitter, but I'll show it here. Whoops.
Nice.
Alien for Atari.
Excellent.
It's actually a really good game. And also, while I'm thinking about it, Eric, you there? This is the Funko slipcover. You want it, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're willing, I'll take it.
I want it. I don't even know where I got it. I forgot, but
Funko Land.
Funko, yeah.
I'll take it. I've never been to a Funko Land. They're not in Maryland, so I've never been to one.
Ooh, a haunted Funko Land sleeve. I definitely want that.
So I think I got it. I don't know, with a game or something.
Yeah, if you don't want it, I'll take it. I don't have an NES one, so I'm.
It is yours.
It's just a little historical thing. Scott, you cool with that?
Yep, absolutely.
You don't want the Funko Land sleeve?
No, I didn't grow up with Funko Lands either.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so it's not nostalgic to me. Now, while I'm here and you guys are here, these are the games I picked up that one day. I don't remember whose are whose, but I think Musty, some of these are yours, mine. Eric.
Hold on.
Some of these are Eric's.
I
think they're just actually Musty's and Eric's, if I'm not mistaken.
Just Target Fun is mine. Unless
on,
that Hangman is not called for, then I'd call that too, but I think someone called it.
It might have been Musty. But anyway.
Yeah, I had like 4 that I said something about. Wow, that's going to take a while to get back to. But
so anyway, I'm bringing these to Chicago. I'm going to try to get to the retro shop again before I go and try to pick up some other stuff to give away, whatever. But I think that's all I'm going to show. Yeah.
Okay.
Musty, if you're looking to get rid of that 5-screw baseball, I need that.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe. Okay, cool.
For sure. Let's see if I can find that tweet.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes too. I have a unboxing I can do whenever people are done.
Okay, does anyone want to go first?
Full on unboxing?
I got one thing I can show.
Don't. It's not a big deal. Go ahead, Ryan.
Found this today for $1 at Goodwill. No discount involved because Wednesday's senior discount day. Today was just full price, so I had to pay $1.04 for the Simpsons book. Now, essentially, this is a guide. It references every episode up until end of season 9. But this is a book that my buddy had in high school, and I'm a giant Simpsons fan. And references every character up until the end of season 9 in every episode. So it's got a brief rundown of episode. This is the Itchy and the Scratchy. The movie one is, you can see Bang Bang Bart right there. That's the flashback Bart has as a stripper. But yeah, and it has the air date it aired. So I remember flipping through this. I know there's been several re-releases of this where they keep adding more and more seasons. But for the price it was in season 9 is probably where it stops being good and it's downhill. 10's good, 11's okay, but after that it's kind of downhill for The Simpsons in my opinion. But it's a book I haven't seen in probably almost 10 years. So
That's
for
really cool.
$1.04, I figure it was well worth it. So yeah,
I found it.
I found it, Duke.
What'd you find?
Your found which ones belong to who.
Oh, okay.
The Activision ones are mine.
Okay. All right, cool.
Eric had Target Fun, Dark Cavern, and Hangman.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
I thought it was just Target Fun, but yeah, I'll take all 3.
Awesome. And then there's this pole position too, which I stupidly thought was a 2600 game, but it's not. Does anybody have a 7800 or need that game?
I have a 7800, but do not need the game.
Oh, okay. Must you have a 7800?
I do not have a 7800.
Scott, do you have a 7800? Do you want pole position too? It's the pack-in game.
I think I have pole position too. Let me check my logs here.
Your database.
Scott, let me ask you a question.
Open the book.
Yeah.
Captain's Log.
If you have an Atari 7800 that came with a pack-in game, do you collect the pack-in game loose for the console box and then collect the game in box separately?
No, I'll usually leave the pack-in game just separately on a shelf, and I'll put like a custom box for it, just so that it has a spot on the shelf.
So you don't collect you don't make sure, for example, that your boxed consoles have the loose cartridge in it that it maybe came with originally.
They usually end up doing it because if I have like doubles of it, then I'll put one in the box just so I always know there's one there.
Yeah, okay. I do that too. But I don't have a box 7800, so I don't need a double duplicate.
I think Scott has like 7 or 8 of them if you want one.
Box 7800s?
Yeah, I think he just has them lying around. He's
I'll
chat with even out his kitchen table. Very unlevel.
You need a Neo Geo? Let me get one under the couch.
I just make kitchen tables out of them, actually. Just cut right to the chase.
VG Collect, is your name Scott? I'm sorry?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have the Atari XE?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's the last console that I want. I had that as a kid, and that's the only one in my collection that I don't have back yet. So
nice.
That was a good console, and it was kind of gimmicky, but with the keyboard and all. But had some good arcade ports on there.
Talking Atari, I have something I picked up at a thrift store, and I wanted to see who wanted it because pretty much everybody here I thought might want it is here.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Pitfall. Is that a Pitfall canteen?
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. That's really neat.
It's like in great condition. I don't know if it's ever been used. I don't know where it came from. It looks like some kind of promotion material, but
does it have a year stamp on it?
Yeah, it's not old. 2017.
Okay.
Wow.
Random.
I really want to see a dead body in the wilderness that has that strapped to the skeleton.
And a scorpion, right? A little scorpion walks out from under it.
So I'm bringing this to Chicago if anybody wants it. Like,
that's awesome.
Cool.
You should just carry it around Chicago. Like you'll be.
So popular.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could be the flask. That's right.
Potentially a conversation ender too, but
well, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm also bringing this for Musty if you don't already have it.
I don't know if I have the one with him on the cover. Hold on.
Does it have the?
I don't know the name of that song, but I don't see.
Let me go see which one I have.
Is that the soundtrack?
Play it live and get a copyright strike, but there's a song list.
It was spot on.
we did for the Misty Mountain song from The Hobbit that one time. I think it was me and NJ Retro got it copywritten for just humming it.
Can we do that? Can we do that in Chicago? Like let's create an NES or a retro game soundtrack that is just everyone humming whatever song it is they want to hum. So you got to come prepared. And we're going to record it.
You might need a good mic, yeah.
Okay, so there's Fellowship.
Okay.
This is the Two Towers that I have.
Oh.
Which has the movie poster on it.
Interesting.
Variant cover.
But I want to look in the inside and just make sure it's not like they just have it.
Yeah. There was one of them that had an insert, like a collector card insert in the front, and there was like 5 different versions of the collector card.
Yeah, so...
Oh, you know what? Look at that. I just pulled the...
Boom.
Does it say...
There it is.
This is your cover, and this is a slip cover.
Mm.
And look at it's actually got another one on the other side.
That's a
long
axe.
That's not confusing for eBay at all.
So then then I have the Return of the King, which is this leather bound deal.
Well, I think I paid 10 cents for this. If you would like it, you can have it.
Sure.
If you'll use it. I thought of you when I saw this, obviously.
Can I have the bass? He can have the slip covers. I just want to hear the Tanana song. And the Helm's Deep song.
Ghetto Blaster.
Bump, bump, bump.
You just want the same 2 songs that every single YouTube video has used since the inception of YouTube.
What? Wily's Castle? Oh, Mega Man 2 jump falls flat.
Oh. I don't think that has Guile's theme either.
Well, everything goes good with Guile's theme, so.
Yeah. This is a random, like, digital pickup thing I'm going to show, but just because others might be interested in it, I mentioned it on the Discord. But there's a Dungeons and Dragons comic Humble Bundle, and it's got just about every D&D comic that's currently in print. So if anyone's interested in that, it's got all the classic ones for the base Dungeons and Dragons and Forgotten Realms. I think the only stuff it's missing is Dragonlance and a couple like the Drist novels that are based on the comics that are based on the novels. It only has the first 2 out of 6. So that's all it's missing though. So it's a pretty decent deal if you're interested in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So figured I'd mention that.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up. I'll grab that.
I played D&D for the very first time less than a week ago. Yeah,
Nice.
Nerd.
I know. Super nerd. My roommate in college was huge into D&D, and I made fun of him for it all the time. And so when I played it, I had to like send him a message and be like, guess what I just did? And I sent him a picture of my character sheet, and he was like, you asshole. Like, I wanted to play with you the whole time during college, and all you do is make fun of me. And I'm like, yeah, it was pretty fun. Who would have thought, huh? And he's like, yeah, I would have thought. Like, I told you that all the time. So anyway.
I never played it as a kid, but
Oh, go ahead.
My kids, I was gonna say I never played it as a kid, but my kids just got into it a couple years ago, and I played a couple times with them, and it is pretty fun. They're really into it. They play with all their friends. It's still pretty popular, even amongst young kids.
It's cool, man. I wish I would have been more open-minded. The thing is, I'm very I don't like the aesthetic of wizards and warriors and sorcery and stuff. Like, just that doesn't interest me at all. But I wish I could have earlier divorced myself from that and instead focused on the fact that like you can literally do anything you want, and it's really just up to the DM to determine like how to interpret that. That should have been the sort of story lead for me as a child, rather than like you can be an elf. I'm like, I don't fucking want to be an elf. That's stupid. I don't care.
Sounds like you were trolling.
Hold your ears, Musty.
Was that chaotic good or?
Yeah, like all that. Like that's where people lead with like all of these terms and like specifics. Like lead with the fact that like you can say and do whatever you want, and then the DM just sort of interprets that. Like that's the heart of it. But you know, too late.
Setting it doesn't have to be that kind of setting.
Exactly. If post-apocalyptic D&D existed when I was growing up, I probably would be doing that right now instead of talking to all of you.
I've heard podcasts where people do like a game in the setting of the 90s X-Men cartoon.
I love that. With Jubilee and her like I got the Pizza Hut VHS tape. Did anyone else have that? Like, oh man, I was all
as a kid. You know, my friends would try to get me to play, and they would spread all these papers and pencils. I'm like, this looks like school. And I look over at my Nintendo, and I'm like, I'm playing Nintendo.
Yeah, that's way better. You made the right decision. Let's be honest.
There's like 4 D&D games on the Nintendo, so you can just play those if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
For reference, that X-Men episode I was talking about is on the podcast. Jay and Miles explain the X-Men, and X-Plane is spelled exactly like you think it is.
Explain.
Yeah. That's a podcast just going from beginning to end on the, like, just going over the entire, every X-Men comic, which is a fun thing. But
those are my favorite type of podcasts. There was one out there that actually went through all Steve Guttenberg's movies for some reason. And it was really good.
Recently, there was a podcast that started up from Patrick Willems. If you watch his videos on YouTube, movie video essays, they started a podcast called We Heart Hartnett, and it's just all the movies of Steve Hartnett or of is it Steve Hartnett?
Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
Yes, good old Steve Hartnett. I have no idea if that's a person.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett. Well, that's probably a pretty short podcast because I think he was in like 4 movies.
I'm gonna pull up, see how many episodes they're up to.
Yeah,
I did. Atari fans, there's a podcast I got Eric listening to. He can attest to it. It's a guy just cataloging every Atari game ever made in fine detail. He describes the booklet, the box, the cart itself, the gameplay. He puts sound effects in there. Does like programmer profiles. It's addicting. Wow. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's called the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast, and it's just something great to throw in the background, and it's just I'm loving it.
And it actually works, even though there's like no visual, or is it a visual podcast?
It's fantastic. It's just a podcast, and the guy just describes, and the guy is just he's very monotone, but for some reason it works. It's just kind of soothing. And Eric can chime in, and I know I think he likes it.
What's it called again?
It's called 2600 Game by Game podcast.
Okay.
And the guy that hosted his name is Ferg, F-E-R-G.
Game.
And it's fantastic.
Just
you guys like Atari?
Yeah, there it is.
It's addictive.
Yeah. Just to follow up, the We Heart Hartnett podcast is up to episode 19 with 30 Days of Night. Nope, 19. I think it's 30, and I got mixed up. Never mind. 19 episodes in on that.
Yeah, I just subscribed to the 2600 podcast.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, please.
I was going to say sometimes a podcast that sounds like it would be very boring, it just works, and for me, it just works. He's just describing the games, and he gives his personal, opinion on the game too. But just the way he describes it, I don't know. There's something about it. He describes the box, the print they use, I mean, everything in super detail. And that's why I knew Eric would like it, because he's into those details. But,
it makes me crazy.
It's got 66 ratings on iTunes, and it's perfect 5.0.
That's awesome.
It's a fantastic podcast. Do you like it, Eric? Are you really into it?
I do. Yeah. I was listening to it when I was putting together the Millennium Falcon.
I know.
And I haven't. I've been trying to catch up with CC podcasts since then, so I haven't listened to it much. But yeah, I enjoy it. I recommend it. And I was going to mention that there's a slew. There's actually a couple of them. There's one for the 7800, and there's also one for the TurboGrafx, which just kicked off. They're only on episode 8. Same kind of style, but to be honest with you, the 2600 guy is one of the better hosts.
Yeah, he's just very kind of humble and meek, and just his voice is very soothing. So it's just a very addictive podcast. So if anybody likes Atari, I highly recommend it. It's really good.
That's the perfect kind of like the podcast medium itself is perfect for those weird ideas that shouldn't be a thing, but they kind of are, and it works. Like that's
like shelf casts.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm definitely gonna listen to it. I'm always looking for new podcasts.
It's easy too because they're quick episodes. It's not like some 3-hour podcast. It's like I think they're what are they, like maybe 15, 20 minutes, Eric, or so a piece.
I think they got a little longer than that, but yeah, they're less than. I think they're less than. I can pull it up. I'm pretty sure they're less than an hour. I thought they were about 30 minutes each, but
okay.
Yeah.
What's the name of it again? I just heard Atari podcast. Atari what?
2600 Game by Game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't go with Masters of Brevity.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of asshole hosts a 3-hour podcast.
I like ones too.
It's fine. I totally get like talking to Scott for 3 hours is atrocious.
Oh my God.
Don't get me wrong. It's awful.
Try living with the guy.
Oh my god, 24/7 of Scott.
What a horrible night to have a co-host.
No good. No good.
Hey, since we have both of you guys from here, Masters of Unlocking here, I heard there's going to be a Masters of Unlocking podcast at C3. Is this true?
Fact.
Is there enough time?
Oh,
There may be. Yeah, I know. We only have an hour, so will we have time? I don't know. Question. It's a hard stop at an hour.
Dual link podcast, like all these podcasts going on at the same time, trying to compete with each other.
Nope.
Is that okay?
Hey, this is how we get points for podcast of the year 2018. So.
Hey Scott, can we articulate our conversation so that right at the 59-minute we are to reveal some crazy revelation, but we have to have a hard stop at an hour, and that's so
cliffhanger. You got a hard stop there. Can we?
1 hour go.
Yeah, 1 hour hard stop.
It's like 24, but just one.
I don't know if you've listened to any of the other 24 episodes, Caleb, but that sounds like an awful lot of coordination for us.
Yeah.
Is this going to be your anniversary episode on top of that?
It is.
Oh, is it? I
Wow.
didn't
Yeah,
realize.
it's going to
That's
be
awesome.
episode 26 every other week. So yeah,
Awesome. I can't wait to screw it up. This is going to be great.
But no, we're not doing dueling podcasts. I will make that clear.
I didn't.
Say, what about Ben?
We all have purty mouths. That's why we podcast.
It's just an hour of squealing like pigs.
Just the Banjo and Kazoo podcast.
Musty, is there someone keeping track of? Is there a master list for the podcast schedule right now?
Yes, there is a schedule that
Okay.
Travis and I have.
Okay, and it's got the Street Fighter thing in there too, or does that overlap with any podcasts?
It is all laid out.
Great.
And we even build in some time if people want to run out and grab food.
Okay,
There
5
is some
minutes.
time.
Okay.
Do they have a stage? Do they have a stage there?
There is a riser, yes.
Okay.
Like
'Cause we're
I
gonna
don't
perform
know
all of our
how.
songs.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Mr.
Describe for-
Nonsense is going to do live performances of all of our songs in your dreams.
That would
So
be
what's
awesome.
what's the pyrotechnics budget like looking like? Is it?
It is. I don't want to ruin
Please don't
Travis's
say
credit
zero.
card.
Yeah, when's the burlesque show starting here?
Oh, it's there the whole time.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
bringing my skivvies, my pasties, my garter belts. Is that what else?
I think so. It's the
Chaps?
dancer's
Chaps. Oh.
choice.
There's gonna be some chaps, probably on my nipples. Is that where chaps?
Crotchless?
Crotchless chaps.
There you go.
Some crotchless ball gags. Is that a thing?
This sounds like a podcast
Hey.
himself. Caleb figures out chaps.
That would be great. I'm just gonna do some searches online for various like sexual things. I'm like, what is that?
Who
Where
would
does
have
that
thought?
go?
Who would have thought you'd want to see chapstick comedy?
Apparently, Yoshi just arrived. in this-
Might be a little dry.
Must you get a rim shot for that one?
No,
Shots or okay.
I have to listen back to this and record something. I missed it.
Oh my god.
I can bring this back to the world of sanity and really quickly talk about a very quick pickup that I had because I'm super proud of it and everyone should know about it. So for anyone who listens to the Masters of Unlocking podcast,
Bastards of
Yeah.
for anyone who slurs their words the way that I do, you'll know that I'm not a collector. I don't collect video games. I have a few of them, but I just don't collect them. But the one thing I love, and I will go out of my way to grab, is any sort of book literature stuff about video games. And there's a brand new thing called A Profound Waste of Time. This is issue 1, so I don't know if it's going to be annual or semi-annual. I honestly don't know, but it's freaking amazing. It's essentially if anyone's familiar with like academic or literary journals where it's like essays about books or short stories or anything like sort of thought provoking, I guess it's kind of that, but then with video games in mind. So you can think of almost like this is like the shorter essay version of like boss fight books kind of thing. So there's some personal like essays in there, and there's also some like in-depth thought pieces and stuff like that. And the actual like the way, like actually it opens up right now to a really weird section where this is an interview with the developers of Shovel Knight, but then every other page is sort of a little bit more artistically inclined. And they actually had game designers create the layout as well. So some of these game designers have never done print layouts before, and they're like, oh, let me see what I can do. And so they kind of throw this out there, but it's just a lot of really, really cool stuff. Now, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. It's printed in the UK, so you have to pay shipping. But for me personally, as someone who just loves this kind of like in-depth video game editorial stuff, like I'm absolutely going to be a lifelong subscriber to this. I don't care if it's $30 an issue. Like that's how much I love this thing. So if you can find it online for cheap or something like that, absolutely recommend, because it's super fun. So
where did you get it?
I got it. I kickstarted it, so it was part of my Kickstarter backer thing. So I was one of those people who loved the idea so much that I just gave them money. I'm like, here, take it. But it was online. You have to order it online. Like I can't get it anywhere locally or anything like that. So if you just go to A Profound Waste of Time or apwot.org, I think it is. You can just order it directly. .com. Thank you very much. You can just order it directly from there. You might be able to get it on Amazon at some point too. This is the very first episode. I think they're still, or issue. I think they're still trying to figure things out, but absolutely recommend it.
And they have a special glow in the dark collector's edition version of issue 1.
I wasn't gonna. I know I do not. I'm
Scott.
Yeah, I bought that one.
Sorry, I assumed, yeah.
Caleb showed me the site, and I was like, God damn it!
Collector's edition.
I have to buy it.
I was going to, but like even for me, like it was enough of a price difference that I was like, I can't spend that much extra money just for. I don't have Scott money, you know.
I know. Few of us.
Caleb money. Yeah.
Caleb, is the first issue? Is it all about Shovel Knight, or do they talk about all kinds of different games?
All kinds of different games. What they did in this episode, or this, I keep saying episode, issue. I don't know if they'll do this every time, but this is all games that were released in 2017. So it's pretty recent. So it's a Shovel Knight, but then a Yoshi story, which was I don't know if there was a re-release of something, but this is more of a personal essay, a Yoshi story. But then there's an essay that's specifically about games like Monument Valley and those sort of mobile games that are a little bit more like Zen, I guess. But then yeah, Shovel Knight's in there. There's definitely some Sonic is in there. So like the Sonic Mania game is in there as well. So licensed games, there's an entire essay about licensed games and what it's written by someone who did a lot of licensed games, who worked for WayForward, who did Shantae, and then a couple other games. And talks about like the misconceptions about licensed games and what they really are and why they're usually kind of terrible. So very cool stuff. So I don't know if that answered your question, but there you go.
The licensed game section actually takes my time.
Yeah, it did. Thanks.
Just for the sake of argument, is there like a cheaper digital alternative to read this, or is it just the same physical
There
one?
may be. I don't know. I will be honest and say I didn't even investigate because I just wanted a print copy, but there may be.
Yeah,
I would imagine there probably is.
I didn't see any digital options on the website,
okay.
but I didn't look all that hard.
Yeah. And I will probably bring it with me to Chicago just because I'm just about done with it, but there's a lot of essays I want to reread. And in a plane, I tend to read stuff rather than play video games. That's just the way I am. So I'll probably bring it with me. So if anyone's curious and wants to flip through it, they absolutely can. So
I gotta drop out, guys.
Yep.
See you, Duke.
Everybody have a good night.
Adios.
See ya.
Good night, Duke.
Night.
Piggyback. Bye.
I got a couple of
bye, Derek.
I can jump through.
Okay.
I picked up a couple of Nintendo games. Nothing too spectacular, but just stuff to fill in gaps. First is Time Lord, which I had for the in television, I think, already. And then I didn't have this, Punch Out, the non-Mike Tyson's edition. And this is probably the best thing that I picked up this week. It is Body Slam for the Intellivision.
Ooh.
It's one of the rarer titles for the Intellivision as I try to knock out the set here. But
Yeah, that's
my
like
favorite
one of the top 10.
Yeah, my favorite thing about this game is the face. Look at that.
Yeah,
looks like Sloth from Goonies.
It does.
Or Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre right there.
Yeah, and that guy's got a fistful of hair that is for some reason longer on the left side of his head than on his right. So it's appropriate that he would grab that part because there's plenty of hair there.
And the flavor text on the back is just awesome. It's like a bunch of Batman pow oof whaps
Yipes.
Yeah.
Clerk? What does clerk mean?
Right? I have no idea. And one of the sentences says, "See yous guys in the ring if you got the guts."
Guts ends in an S, so of course you have to precede it with a bunch of S words.
Right. And use is spelled Youse, in case you didn't know that.
Of course,
that's how you spell it.
Yeah, man, that's a thing.
How you spell it.
So it must be pronounced Yos.
Yos, guys.
Is that a late release game?
Yeah, this was released in 1988.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it wasn't done by like that INTV group.
It is an INTV release. Yeah, all of the white box ones, which were all I believe released in 1988 or 89, were the INTV releases.
Okay.
And they're all quite rare.
Does that have I'm sorry, I was confused because I was expecting to see the INTV branding, that logo. Isn't there? Don't they have their own logo?
No, the only INTV branding is right here.
Alrighty.
That focus. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
But all of the branding on elsewhere is full Intellivision.
Standard, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to see Scott one day go to the National Video Game Museum in Frisco, Texas, because they have literally an exhibit where it's just boxed every game you can imagine, and they have it set up as a video rental store type of situation, so you can just like walk through and handle all of the boxes and just like you're there. And so I would imagine you just like planning, like, how can I steal all of these? Like, there's got to be something.
Walk out with giant shirt. Don't mind me, folks.
Do you have anything else, Scott?
I have one last thing. That is,
of course,
the Wayfarer's edition of Project Octopath Traveler, which is nice because it comes already in a plastic case. You know?
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah.
It's actually
yeah, no, it's actually the case that's got the branding and the Switch logo on it. The actual box itself looks like a hardbound book, almost like the Alan Wake collector's for 360.
Yeah, it's cool that the branding stuff comes off with that.
Yeah. Yep. And that is everything I picked up that is worth showing.
Cool stuff.
I have something not worth showing.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm gonna unbox it right here. It just arrived.
Oh, I love the sound of all that crinkling.
Yeah, get the paper up to the microphone.
Yeah, get that right in there. Come on.
There we go. There we go.
You guys are gonna be really disappointed. I'm not kidding.
Pull it out.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
2-pack.
Oh,
I can now sit further away.
That's a fantasy.
So,
hey, me too.
Is it another 3-foot cable? Is that a 3-foot cable right there? What is that?
This is the 2-pack extension. It's a 6-foot cable for the SNES and NES Classic.
That's lengthy.
Speaking of the SNES and NES
that's
Classic
average, right?
controllers,
that's average.
8-Bit Dough today released kits to be able to mod your Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, NES Classic, or SNES Classic controllers into wireless Bluetooth.
That's awesome.
And it's $20. All you have to do is unscrew the controller, and you just pop out the PCB, pop in the new PCB, and you're done.
What about the receivers?
The receivers, they sell receiver dongles for all of those systems.
Okay. So they can't. Okay, so it can be used with the old systems. You buy the receivers, you buy the conversion kit.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden,
then you can use a first-party controller with Bluetooth.
These were $10.
Hilariously, I also ordered extension cables for that, but they're arriving tomorrow.
Oh, well, I guess I'm just better.
You ordered sooner than I did.
Yeah, I know. That's what I meant.
Mine are 10
I know,
foot
I'm
cables,
teasing.
though. So
Yeah, the 10-foot cables are the way to.
Where'd you get 10-foot?
Amazon.
yeah, I got the Orsley
I
one.
went down and I pulled them out of a tree.
Mm.
A large
Sounds
snake
like a little bit better. Sounds like he's
Or
a little
tree.
bit better, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, all right.
See, Musty Schwartz is bigger than mine.
I get it. As someone who's never seen a single Star Wars film, I still think Spaceballs is great. It's weird, I know.
Spaceballs,
No,
the
it's not.
movie.
Spaceballs is always good. Context be damned.
I think so. Yeah, you're right. I think so.
Somebody else brought this up recently, but was anyone else's first experience with Alien Spaceballs?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Because it was mine.
Yeah. That was probably one of those things that I laughed at as a kid because, this is funny. Like, I didn't really get the reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Check, please.
It was unsettling, to say the least. Oh no, not again.
What was that man having? The special? I just ordered the special.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Was that the what's the name of the frog that came from? Like, was it the WB frog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just his initials. WB Frog.
Yeah, That's like that. That's one of the. So I grew up on like Merry Melodies and Looney Tunes cartoons, and like that was my thing. And that was one that always stuck in my head. Was the construction site with the frog that would come out of the box, and for some reason like that always stuck with me, and I never really realized why. And then when I saw Spaceballs, I remember thinking like, oh, other people have the same association. Like apparently this was a big enough deal that a famous director made a movie and included it. And I don't know what it is about that particular short that like I was so drawn to as a kid. Like it's just I'll probably go to my grave like still trying to figure out like why that was such an impactful.
You know, the funny thing is, I hated that bit. I hated it as a kid. I hated it. It was, it was painful. Like I felt bad for the guy who thought, I hated it. I hated that stupid frog. So.
That's so funny.
I don't hate it now, but as a kid, I hated it. I'm like, not this, because I watched Looney Tunes growing up too, and I hated that part.
Did you hate it just because it was like a musical thing? Like it was like, eh.
I think I get the joke now, but as a kid, I was like, this guy's down on his luck, and he thought he found this, whatever this.
Oh man, so you had empathy, and I didn't have it. Okay,
I hated it. I'm like, I had this stupid frog.
Like, why would the frog just perform? For fuck's sake, this guy wants to like make some money.
Yep, exactly it. Basically, I'm like,
you're already dancing. Dance in front of people. Do it. Yeah. Okay. Great. So you just made me reconsider my whole childhood. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Speaking of reconsidering childhood choices, I think I mentioned this in the comments of one of the like E3 videos, but you mentioned not ever seeing Star Wars before. I think it would be cool just the way like you do videos and podcasts, like if you did like literally episode by episode, just first reactions to the movies as you watch them, if you were to go through them.
That would be pretty cool. I fear though that I would get a lot of people hating me for that because
actually that's probably a bad idea. It's like for like if you went through the prequels first, especially, it's like you'd have like 3 videos of hate, 3 of love, and then like 4 more of hate.
But
and the hottest burning hate that you could possibly find.
Yeah.
Too.
But what's kept me away from it is similar to earlier when I said my aesthetic for like fantasy and stuff. I don't really like space either. Like it's just not an aesthetic that I like. And so like it would be hard for me to jump into it and approach it optimistically. Like I would immediately be like, why are there explosions in space? Like I that would be my first thought, and I know that's not fair. So like I probably wouldn't do well.
We're 25 episodes in. I still
like near the end of the movie, you wouldn't have that thought. Actually, the very first thought, because the Star Destroyer, now that I think about it.
Now, Caleb, is it like a stigma that you, when he comes for you for this, that you think this is nerddom or something like that? Where, you know, like, because I agree with you that I don't like, you know, fantasy or space at all, but for something, you know, Lord of the Rings for some reason ticks, and Game of Thrones ticks. Anything else, no. Same thing with space, like space, Star Wars, and maybe Spaceballs, and maybe Guardians of the Galaxy are the only really things. Yeah. Everything else, like Battlestar Galactic, I can't talk today. You know, Star Trek, nothing. It just doesn't stick with me. You know, it's to me when I see it, it's just like no, you know, instantly. You know,
yeah, it's interesting you say Guardians of the Galaxy, because I've seen both those movies and I thought they were really good. I liked them a lot. Like I'm not gonna, you know, I thought they were good. So I don't know if it's because those didn't take themselves seriously or too seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think if but now at the point, like, I mean, right now we're talking multiple minutes on the fact that I've never seen Star Wars. So it's almost like a point of pride to be like, I've never seen Star Wars. And that's almost a conversational opener. So like that alone is enough for me to be like, I don't want to watch it because I kind of like being the guy who's never seen it. I think I'm old enough now that I would have an open enough mind that I would probably see its merits. You know, I'd see its whole like hero's journey type of thing. But I just, that aesthetic, it's the same thing that kept me away from like The Witcher. Like everyone says The Witcher 3 is fantastic and it's amazing and it'll blow your mind, but like I don't like, you know, riding on horses and shooting arrows. But I love Skyrim. Okay, I'm not making any sense now.
Yeah, I think there's actually a distinction there between both of you. With like you like Skyrim and Ryan likes Lord of the Rings, but like all these other things that are like this kind of more realistic don't really mesh, or less. Damn it! Now that I've kind of lost the point, but there's a distinction between like hard and soft fantasy or sci-fi. Like the Star Trek doesn't really work for Ryan, but Star Wars is fine. Like just kind of the way they approach that genre, it might be the distinction there. So you might gravitate towards one kind of that over the other. It's the only kind of distinction I can come up with for that.
That's probably fair. Yeah. I think if I open my mind enough and my time enough to actually watch both Star Trek and Star Wars and a bunch of other sci-fi epics, I would probably be like, okay, this is why this is good, because in the context of sci-fi epics, this does certain things in terms of Star Wars. And I just don't know that I'm necessarily willing to open my mind up to that. I'd like to. I probably will at some point. I just haven't yet. So,
where they come at Star Wars, like where George came at it, like in terms of like literary and film reference points, like how he pastiched all these different things together into his own thing, might be more interesting for you just as a way to get into it.
Yeah, I think from the historical context, it probably would be.
Yeah.
I think probably since then, he may have started that whole, the hero's journey, as I mentioned earlier, that whole thing. He may have started bringing that into the sci-fi realm. But I'm guessing, and this could be wrong, but I'm guessing there's probably been other directors and writers and stuff who've done similar-ish things that it wouldn't be as much like mind-blowing to me now. But I would like to be able to remove myself enough from it to be like, okay, this was created in the freaking 70s. Like this is a big deal. I fear that I wouldn't be able to, and that I would be disappointed. So it's an unfound fear probably, but that's honestly probably how I feel. Yeah.
I'll just give it a shot.
I'll say interesting side note. I listened to Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman podcast, and this is Star Trek. I don't watch Star Trek, but I thought this was an interesting side note because the co-host Mark Bernardin is he's a writer too on the side, or that's his normal job. But he was talking about his first when he was an intern. I guess he was an intern for Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and he was saying there's a point in time where Star Trek they would accept. If you sent in a script or an idea to the writers, they had people who would read every single script that came in because they had to fill time. So they needed ideas for the show. And he said, because he said he acknowledged that Deep Space Nine probably wasn't a good show, even though he was an intern on it. Well, this is him working on it basically. And he said like he suggested the idea for an episode that they play like hopscotch on an episode. And they told him, he suggested it and they kind of laughed him out of the room. But 3 months down the road, there was an episode at home when he got home, and he watched it, and sure enough, there was an episode where they did hopscotch on it, and he's just like, well, that's my idea. And he said like he was proud of it for a minute, and then he said like I think his roommate at the time was like, what a stupid idea. And he just didn't fess up to the idea at all. He just ate it and just walked away. So
there's something interesting about the idea of being restricted by genre. So that's something I've always wrestled with. Is I've always been sort of anti-genre just because I see it as like you've got to align to certain beliefs and certain conventions, and that's zaps creativity. But one of my favorite authors, his name is Stephen Graham Jones, he once said that like no, like genre is really, really freeing because like you know what your restrictions are, and so you have to be creative given these certain conventions. And that's more telling, to be creative within conventions, to be creative without conventions. And so like the idea of like them saying like anything a fan submits, let's make an episode with it. Like that's actually kind of interesting. Like that's more telling of talent than being able to do anything you want, you know? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like if someone's like, you can do anything you want, and then you're just like, what do I do?
You're paralyzed by possibility, you know?
Yeah, it's like but it's kind of like how like retro games are interesting because they had to get creative because of the limited hardware. So that's a similar kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Star Wars. You should go see a Star Wars.
What about
And we're gonna have a screening of that during Saturday.
There you go.
I'm gonna pry my eyes open like Clockwork Orange, just like
we putting the eye drops in you.
As long as you have the eye drops, I'm okay.
There'll be no escape.
I'm probably gonna cut it out though. I gotta get freaking to bed. I'm tired.
I gotta call it too.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. This has been actually fun. I haven't been part of one of these before, so I appreciate the hospitality. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's good having you on.
Do we say goodbye,
night,
Moo,
Caleb.
here, or for Masters Unlocking? Goodbye, Moo. Because we're both leaving.
Yeah, that's right. We are.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Moo.
It's Malpod.
Have a good night, y'all.
Bye. Good night to you too.
See you guys. Bye.
Well, now that they're gone.
Which ones are Jake and Travis?
It's not the one that you can
Everyone just collect themselves for a second.
Yeah.
Looking over.
Basking in the Masters of Unlocking glow.
That's right.
What a bunch of nice guys, huh? What a bunch.
We should have talked. You know what? We should have talked esports the whole time. Just kidding.
I mean, I found a way to bring it to Star Wars, so I'm happy.
No, I'm just saying they have a penchant for despising esports. So yeah.
Hey Ryan, what's with the mirror going away?
The mirror, I hated it. I think from the day I bought it. And the thing about it is too, the guy, when I was signing the paperwork over for the the keys and everything, the guy said, "Oh, those are probably taped to the." He goes, "Those are taped to the wall. They'll come off right easy. They fell off before we just put them right back on." No, they were glued. So that was fun.
So did you do the demolition? You were like,
yep.
Oh.
I had a couple days off from work, and I said, "I was either going to take that mirror wall down, or I was going to paint my bedroom." And I decided, well, I get this putty knife right here. I'm going to take a look to see if they're taped. And after I took one off, I was just like, well, I guess guess I'm going to keep going after this here. And 2 hours later, the mirror wall was down, and 6 hours later, it was cleaned up off the floor. So,
yeah.
So, are you now a master of ungluing?
I don't know about that, but demirroring, maybe, if you will. So that was a nightmare. So, but it's done.
That's the best we could come up with. So
I got what's it called? I got my one buddy who is a carpenter. He's gonna eventually come over here and he's gonna redo the wall then, so we can just paint over it. So it's one of those fun projects, if you will. I hated that mirror wall from the day I looked at the house, but other than that, I love the house. So. So.
Do you have to put up drywall, or are you just gonna like scrape it down?
He suggested it because he said drywall is cheap and what's it called, probably a lot faster than like having to prime it and mud it and everything. So, but he said he's gonna come over and take a look at it, and we'll just we'll go from there. So, shouldn't be too bad though. I was just happy that that's over with and it's gone. I actually don't mind that. I like that there's no more mirror now when I walk in there. I understand it makes the room, like twice the size, but I've always hated it, especially with the gold outlining they have.
Yeah.
I hated it. So what a stupid idea that guy will ever put in his house here. No. I mean, because this wall right here is wood paneling too, but it's painted white, and I hate that too. So eventually he's gonna come and do drywall for this room too, and then I'll repaint it. That's the reason I'm not gonna paint it, because if I'm just gonna knock it down, what's the point of repainting it? But yeah, little home projects, if you will. Not like Musty. He's got his pictures and everything.
Yeah, they look good.
Did you show that as your pickup?
No, I didn't show it.
You should call it pickups and presents or whatnot.
Show and tell. Here, I'll show it one more time. Let me.
Extreme close up.
So these white shelves, right? So this is still in progress. Those, maybe the action set probably stays there, but I did this. Took the pictures. The amiibo really aren't. Some of the amiibo are in like the right spot because they belong to their properties, and that Omni Blade that's down there makes sense for Mass Effect. But yeah, I got the frames were from Michaels. They were $9 a piece, and they just required just a itty bit of trimming on those on the artwork.
Did you take like a pencil and trace it off, or did you just take it to like a paper slicer? One of those ones that's got the blade you push down.
I cut on my hand.
Okay.
So I used the glass. They are glass front. So I put the picture down, put the glass over the top of it, drew a Sharpie along the one edge that I wanted to cut. Then I moved the glass over so that it like held the picture open still, because I had them like poster rolled, and so they weren't sitting flat. So by doing that, I was able to then. I just knew I had to go like 2 millimeters off of the line to get exactly what I needed, but it worked.
Not a bad idea. I was always wondering how to do that. So it's kind of weird that he couldn't print it exactly like on 11x17 paper.
Yeah, I don't know why he.
Because he said it was slightly off, because it is like 17 3/4 or something like that. It's
so the 17-inch direction is spot on.
Okay.
It's 11 1/4 instead of 11. I don't know why. Cannot explain that.
Yeah,
but they look good. They look good there.
Because the other ones,
I still have 4 more. I just don't know where I'll put them yet. I haven't decided. There's like this wall here, but
he originally had like the other ones were perfect frames, like they were 24x40 or something like that, where like you didn't need to worry about slicing anything. So he had one cut, but those are the $50 as opposed to like 3 for $20,
Yeah.
I did really want to get that big near one, but because I like that one a lot, but went cheap.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can. I mean, I could probably put 4 because I have 4 left. I probably could go 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and then I can rotate them. Right. That's the nice thing, is that most of them are portrait orientation, so I can swap them out or cycle them through. We'll have to see. Once the IKEA stuff is here, the rest of this room is going to fall into place after C3. But I'll get those shelves built. I'll probably still be building them. Well, maybe I'll be building them during the Hangout next week.
You said you having them shipped. You're not just picking them up from your way back.
Yeah. So I made the decision to order them because it was going to kind of be a wash with sales tax. Yeah, I mean, it was a matter of, can I not have to deal with transporting these myself, which might cost me more gas. It might, I don't know how well it would fit. Like, it's possible I get there and then some of the, just based on how much I'm getting, it might not fit really well. So my thought was that I could get them in here, and like for the Kallax, they have all those inserts, the drawers and doors and that kind of stuff. I can get everything in there and figure out like, okay, I need, for this to look right, I need 4 door inserts and 2 things of shelves, and I can pick up those things. Those are smaller. I can pick up those. So I'm still going to go to IKEA after on my way out of town. And my wife might want me to pick up some things too, because we're getting that kind of trying to wrap things up phase with the house. So we're getting there. We're kidding ourselves. It's going to be a year. I know.
Everything unboxed?
Mostly. We actually sat down and watched 2 movies. We watched A Quiet Place.
I hated the CGI monsters in that. I just watched it on Friday, actually.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't. That nothing was. I'm glad that nothing was revealed ahead of it. So, for the sake of others who might still want to see that, I'm not gonna say much else.
Yeah, no spoilers.
CGI monsters.
Did you see spoilers? Did you see the Honest trailers today for A Quiet Place?
No, I didn't see the Honest trailer for it.
My favorite line of that is,
Are you going to ruin this for?
No, it's basically it's every father's dream essentially is the explanation for it, and I thought it was pretty funny. If you watch the trailer, it's pretty. It makes perfect sense, and I thought it was pretty funny.
I'll have to watch it. Yeah. But I like that. But then we watched Baby Driver, which is awesome. Like, see that movie.
I completely forgot about that movie existing. I still need to see it.
It is so well done. And I was almost going to tell Kevin that if they're going to still do their car chase film Dango, that they should throw that one in there, even though it's new. But yeah, really well done. Like, I mean, so much of the music is like the film is almost choreographed to the soundtrack, which is it's really cool. I really, really liked it, and it's well acted, and Kevin Spacey and John Hamm and
John Hamm's John Hamm.
Ham and bubbly.
Yeah, man. Instead of the soap dispenser, we have a mustard dispenser. If it feels like ham, it's not the toilet paper. That's a Saturday Night Live joke if anyone's ever seen it. It's John Hamm's John Hamm.
A what?
It was like rolled up cold cuts.
Yeah,
like,
it was
a toilet roll.
Yeah, because he's like there's John Hamm, John Hamm the actor. There's so he's doing an ad for, and it's a Saturday Night Live ad, but it's called John Hamm's John Hamm, but it's like a toilet paper roll, but it's ham. So it's called it's like so he's sitting on the toilet. It's like you have a snack for when you're sitting in the John, basically. So it's John Hamm's John Hamm, and he's it's supposed to having a soap dispenser. There's a mustard dispenser, so you can have mustard on your ham, if you will, while you're eating. And like the tagline at the end, it's like, if it feels like ham, it's not your toilet paper,
That is disturbing on so many levels.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he's holding back from laughing while doing that commercial, if I do remember correctly, because it's a live, you know, commercial on it, but you know. Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but heard John Hamm. You know, since you're speaking of movies, another movie I saw this weekend was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I finally saw it for the first time. That was fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah. You know what? Hold on. There may be a strange connection there. Edgar. Right. I think
that is Baby Driver's director is Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Both of those.
And he did Scott Pilgrim.
Really?
Same director. Yes.
Yeah.
He did and Hot Fuzz and The World's End.
And Shaun of the Dead, right?
Yes. Yeah, same director.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. Too bad about the game, though, not being playable anymore.
Oh, and Ant-Man.
He wrote the original cut. He was supposed to.
Yeah.
He got writing credits. He got writing credits for it too.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's associated
he was supposed to direct, but it was creative differences. So
yeah,
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, if you just look at movies for him, it cycles and it has that next to it.
Yeah, but I actually do still have that.
Oh, Jamie Foxx is the other. Jamie Foxx is the other big name.
Motherfucker Jones. Why do they call you Motherfucker Jones? Well, one time, my mom was asleep, and I crawled into her bedroom. Oh, no, and I slid in and I took $20 out of her wallet. Oh, well, that's better. You know, what do you think I was talking about?
Anyway.
Horrible Bosses reference for anyone who's ever seen Horrible Bosses.
Nope.
Not enough to.
Yeah.
I don't remember that line.
You remember when he explains it? Because he's basically, everyone thinks he's going to talk about banging his mom and just
we got it.
$20 out of her wallet.
No, I don't remember that. I guess I got to see that movie again.
The second one is this. See the second one. It's the second one. It seems like they're just having fun the entire time, and I think they just ad-libbed almost the entire time.
Okay.
I really, the first one I thought was a fun movie, but the second one I thought was a great movie. So.
Oh.
But yeah. To bring it back, see Baby Driver. It's awesome.
Okay.
Not one for the kids.
Is there movies in there?
No, violence.
Oh.
I mean, bank heists.
We're pretty reserved in what the kids watch anyway, so.
So you probably weren't going to see, oh, well, this is probably some gray area. We'll let this one slide. Yeah. We almost rented Game Night.
Oh, I want to see that.
Saw that last night, or saw that a couple days ago too.
But no, it was not. It's been nice the last 3 nights he's been with his grandparents, so we've been able to watch movies and not have like a finger on the pause button at all times. And, yeah.
And watch them all in one sitting instead of 3 nights.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
So when are you gonna let him watch a movie like Predator?
Well, I mean, let's talk about when we're gonna let him see Star Wars. Like, I'm struggling with when. All right, Chris, we'll see ya.
Hey, Chris.
I'm just struggling with that because it's like.
Do you think he just doesn't have the attention span, or are you afraid of the laser swords?
No, I'm not. Like, if you look at things like what Common Sense Media, like, okay, so there's that website Common Sense Media, which gives you kind of like a crowdsourced consensus for what an appropriate age for a movie is.
I think between the movies mentioned so far, the rule should probably be if it bleeds, you can't watch it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, A New Hope in the first 20 minutes, there's a couple significant, like there's a neck snapping and an arm severing. Like
yeah, like the
No blood. No blood.
there is blood.
No,
There
there's
is
not.
blood.
Star Wars?
Yes, there is.
When?
Yeah, on that arm.
Ponda Baba's arm.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's bled before, though, right? He's probably tripped and cut himself, right? Blood does exist.
That's a heck of a slip.
But that's not what I'm getting at. Like, I'm not.
He's not seeing Kill Bill here.
I understand that. My bigger concern as to why I'm not ready to show it to him yet is because I want him to understand morality a little bit more, and the get some of that message out of the story. And I don't know when the right time for that is.
Yeah. Rather than just watch and say, Darth Vader was so cool.
How old is your son, if you don't mind me asking?
4.5.
See, I think I saw it when I was 8, and that was just because it was on television. Like it was like an Easter Sunday, and like it was just like there was nothing else on besides the 10 Commandments. And I think my aunt and uncle just put that on stuff. So it's like whatever. And I watched the marathon, and I remember I was like, laser swords, this is amazing, So
yeah, I mean, part of me is like, it'd be cool if I could get him, if I was comfortable with him getting caught up by the time 9 comes out, but that's next year, right? Like that's not going to happen. And I'm really not. I don't want to rush him. I don't want to rush him through 9 movies, just to get him like.
Depending on how it goes over, it might not be a rush.
Oh well, I mean that's true. He might not be keen on it, and we can slow down, or he may be like, "I want to see the next one."
Yeah, just like all of them.
He's like, "Yo, pops, I want me a stormtrooper head." Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, "Hold on. Clearly, we shouldn't have watched the Clone Wars first."
Yeah, he's like, "This Darth Vader is pretty
Attack of the
sweet.
Clones.
This Darth Vader's pretty sweet, man."
I'll be like, "What have we done?" But yeah, I don't know. There's something about the whole, good. Like right now, what he's watching is, I mean, he's watched like Robots in Disguise, which is Transformers Light. There's some, I mean, but there's a lot of punching and kicking and smashing and stuff like that, and so like I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, those are cars, not people. Like cars and other vehicles.
Yeah,
robots.
But like, yeah, I don't know.
Let's say 8.
I think by 8 for sure. It's just a matter of like.
It's like well, I'm saying something to Chris here in the chat that like when he says like his aunt and uncle are burned alive, that went over my head as a kid. That's something I didn't catch on until like probably like second or third viewing down the road. And I know they passed away, but I didn't realize like they were burned alive. That's just something else. It's like, all right, let's go on to the next thing, or I forgot it because there was something really cool with like lasers and whatnot. So blasters and lasers and
they set their house on fire.
Well, I was just like, oh, good. Luke can leave his lame family behind and go on an adventure here. So let's see where this is going.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was like, well, this movie's got Muppets in it. Yoda's here. This is sweet.
But yeah, I mean, like I almost am more comfortable with him seeing Star Wars than seeing Lord of the Rings at this point. Just because it's
less gritty.
Yeah, like I mean, Lord of the Rings. There's some scary stuff, like visually. As a child, there's some scary stuff.
We're not going to give him the extended cut.
Oh no, he will watch.
You will watch this, son.
He'll enjoy it. I don't doubt that.
Or else.
You're gonna watch it until you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do you know who your father is?
But I mean, if we do it the way that if we do Trilogy Day, which my wife has already said that now that we have a little theater, like we're totally going to do Trilogy Day, like on the regular. Like send him away to grandma's, and then we're just going to sit and watch Lord of the Rings all day. It'd be amazing.
We did that over the weekend. We moved into our house back in 2005. We bought the original trilogy, and we bought a brand new TV, and watched Eric had an extra day off, and we took the whole weekend to watch the super extended edition and everything.
It was the extended editions, yeah.
There you go.
It's a good time.
It's like 13 hours.
It's a good time.
13 hours of movie.
It's a good time. Now it's 3 days to watch one movie. So it was a good time.
Oh, I mean, we were struggling to get through an episode of Game of Thrones without having to be like, I'd see him at the top of the stairs, and I'd be like toss the remote to her as I go to the stairs, and
so he doesn't come all the way around the corner.
No, you say, son, come right here. I want to show you the scene involving the mountain and this one guy, and he thinks he's really tough at fighting. He thought wrong,
Oh, dude, man. I'm over 40, and I shouldn't have watched that scene.
That was amazing. That was like the one thing I love about Game of Thrones is that every once in a while, it's not every episode, and maybe it's always like at least once a season. Well, maybe not every once a season, but every once in a while they hit you with like a scene where I'm like, oh my god, I've never seen that before on television.
Yeah,
that was amazing, and that's what I keep coming back for scenes like that, and the scene where the guy wanted his crown, and Aquaman made him a crown.
Crown for a king.
Yeah. Here's your crown.
Oh yeah.
I still need to see season 7.
They're all good,
Yeah. I've seen everything up to that. It's just the one season I'm behind on.
Yeah. Well, you got another year.
Yeah. It's one of those things like I've avoided spoilers until now, and I kind of want to keep avoiding them, and I feel like a year is a hell of a long time to keep dodging that. But that's also a heck of a wait between seasons. I don't want to just get on and wait. It's like, oh, that was great. Well, time to wait another year.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, once the advertising machine starts rolling, I have a feeling that you're if you aren't close to caught up by that point, you're gonna get something in the advertising that's gonna spoil for you.
They think they just announced that they finally finished filming it now or something like that, but still,
only certain actors have finished their filming.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at this point, you need to even be careful about what Funko Pops get put out,
toilers. That's what they call them, toilers.
Toilers.
Yeah.
I legitimately got spoiled on Giant Man happening in Civil War by going to Free Comic Book Day and the Funko was out, and someone's like, "Oh, look, a Giant Man Funko." I'm like, "God damn it!"
Yeah, that was That was one of the spoilers for Civil War. Was that one? Because they announced it 2 months before the movie was even coming out. So
I wouldn't have known about Stormbringer if I hadn't have gone to Toys R Us before IW.
Just imagine reading the track list on the Phantom Menace soundtrack.
Oh yeah. Who that?
Duke.
Oh.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep. No
He was
idea.
we're leaving early Sunday. Lies.
I'm not getting these notifications. I have no idea what's happening.
Previously, Duke had said that he was leaving C3 Sunday morning, and now he comes to find that they're leaving Monday night.
Check the show and tell section on the Discord. I mean, Eric, you've already seen it, obviously.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
What is it? Because I'm not going to log into Discord here. I don't even know my login anymore.
It's a GIF with me in it.
It's on Twitter. It's on Twitter.
Is it Dean?
Yeah,
doing
Dean.
his spreadsheets?
Yeah.
Oh, Dean.
Did you see that Egypt's going to open up this sarcophagus?
No.
It's terrifying.
There's been great memes of that too.
I've seen at least one Rita Repulsa.
That was one of them.
Yeah, giant black granite coffin.
Yeah, this seems safe. Let's see what's inside.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a mummy!
Someone's like, this evil spirit comes out and says, well, my job's done. Okay. Way to go. Way to go, guys.
Do you think they're going to keep the contents under wraps?
Ooh.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
Better or worse than chapstick comedy?
I mean, I already said that was a little dry, so.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So can I ask here? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize if this has been discussed, but has anybody sorted out the games that are going to be used for the Street Fighter tournament?
No.
Not the version, not the console, the actual Street Fighter game that's going to be played.
Which game that we will be playing?
Championship Edition, because it's for Sega.
So the reason I hadn't selected one yet is because I was going to, like, part of me would say, like, if there's nobody who is a person who wants to play as Cammy, Fei Long, T-Hawk, or DJ, like, then let's just go with Turbo. It's the mode but then you brought up the question of how many stars.
Yeah,
on the speed and that
I didn't
sort of
know
thing.
the nomenclature, but yeah,
You go with the normal. You go what the default is, which is 3 stars.
I think that's fair.
Those are Q-Dog rules. Yeah, whatever it powers on as. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm leaning toward that, and if somebody really, really, really wants Super, then we can have a conversation. But like Turbo is on the SNES Classic, we could play that. Turbo is on
the
30th anniversary, which will have at least one copy of. I'm just trying to decide. I'm trying to figure out how quickly we can get through it. You know, if we had 8 people, could we do? You know, could we do that really quickly? Like, could we do seven rounds? You know, within an hour, let's say.
How much time do you have allotted?
I have. So, if we only did say this, I've allotted about an hour.
Okay.
We could just do the semifinals and the finals during that hour, unless we think we could get through all of it.
So, let me mention a couple things. I think you mentioned the question about playing Super versus just Turbo in the chat. By my count, I think you've mentioned it twice. Does that sound right? That you've mentioned it at least twice in the thread?
Yeah, nobody's really
and nobody is
vocalized.
Exactly. I know you mentioned it today. I thought you mentioned it a while ago too. Nobody has said anything, which I take to mean almost an implicit no one is going to play those 4. Now, that's not to say you should decide without asking at least one more time, but it seems like if somebody was interested in playing Super, they would have spoken up by now. I guess, and the other I forgot what the other thing is, but let me ask this. Do you think? I mean, I can bring a. So we could have multiple. How are you going to do the? So I'll be in. So how many people do you have in right now?
As of right now, I have. Let me pull up the.
And how are you going to do the thing? Is it going to be like single elimination? Are you going to do?
I was thinking best 2 of 3, like a match.
3 match.
Yeah. So of each.
Do you want me to tell you like how basic fighting tournament works basically?
Sure. Yeah.
If you know, sure.
So an original round basically will be best 2 of 3. So everyone would probably advance then, and eventually you can always do then like a loser bracket too, which gives everyone a second chance basically, and that's also 2 out of 3. So eventually when you make it all the way to the championship round, it's best of 5, and then if the loser wins the first set of best of 5, it gets reset, and you do one more set of 5, if you will. That's essentially how most fighting game tournaments work. The loser of the champion, the number 1 seed. Let's say the loser, let's say the loser bracket makes it all the way to the, because eventually even like the number 2, like let's say number 1 and the number 2, eventually go, like eventually the number 2 gets put back in the loser bracket, and eventually they compete. So let's say the number 2 then it goes back against the number 1 again. Then it comes, then it's the championship round, so it's a best of 5. If the champion wins, it's over. If the loser wins, it gets reset, and then it goes back to another set of 5, and then that's when it's over. So if that makes sense.
Not quite. But when you say best of 5, you mean so each game itself is a 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Match. So when you're saying best of 5, you're talking about 5 of those games.
Well, if you win 3,
2 out of 3 matches.
Yeah. No, it's not 5. It's a best of, it's a
best of 5.
Like how many knock, like how
3.
many?
So you have to win 3 basically. So
you have
3 matches of the 5.
So not you win 2 and that equals 1.
Yeah,
it's 3 out of 5.
The first would get 3 wins that set, if you will. So,
and each set is 2 out of 3.
For the first round, it's 1 out. So you have to win 2.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so confused about it. But the game itself is a 2 out of 3 game.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm calling that a game.
Yeah.
In order to win a game, you have to beat the opponent 2 out of 3 times.
Correct.
So now for the best of 5, is that best of 5 games?
Yes.
So
or is it just the first person to knock the other person out 3 times wins?
Yes.
No, hold on. It's not both.
Now you're getting confused.
I hold on. Here.
I think Musty's onto me here.
So, no, I get it. Let's try tennis terms, maybe.
Get away from the who's on first.
Okay, so what Ryan is saying, I think, is that you have to get 3 times that you have knocked them down twice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Out of 5. So
yes.
The first to get 3 double knockdowns.
Yeah. 3 games. 3 games is the terminology I was using there.
But if the loser, the number 2 seed, let's say like the winner coming back from the loser bracket, if they win they have to reset it.
That's weird. Sure. Yeah, that's weird. I'm gonna look that up.
That's because champion. That's the champion. He won all the way to the. He didn't do the loser bracket.
It's a double elimination tournament. Is what that is. Now, for the sake of time, I don't think that that's. If we're gonna try and do all of it within that time period, because what I tried to do is look at if all of these, if we did best of 5 and we went to 5. And every single one of those individual ones went to 3 rounds. Then
rounds.
And if every round went to the time limit, how much time are we talking? And it was like 34 minutes just for the finals if we did it that way. Like now I know that wouldn't happen. We wouldn't have it go to the clock every single time. But
no, it's a good measurement because that's worst case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've identified worst case.
Which is why the thought process we were having was let's have the semis and the finals in that time that we have, and any preliminary rounds, which it looks like as of right now I've got about 8. I have 7, but it looks like there's others. I think it looks like Chris in the chat is expressing some interest potentially. But I mean,
Chris,
old ass retro gamer.
Is he coming?
Yeah, he lives in Chicago, or I mean, he works in Skokie.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I didn't realize. That's cool.
Yeah. And then I mean, there's others too, like BStat was going to come.
Oh, he's coming too. Oh, great.
Yeah. There was talk that Brazel might make his way up there, but we haven't really pressed him on it. Like at one point, we were talking to him about it back in like May.
Okay, that'd be cool. I'd like to meet him.
Yeah. So I mean, I think over the next week, I'm hoping to bring back Now as just a big promo for C3.
Yeah, what happened to Now? Was it your move?
I've been busy.
You changed the title to later.
Eventually. Eventually.
I wasn't sure if it went away permanently.
No,
or if it was just your
didn't.
move.
It's going to be on the club specific site going forward.
Okay.
But
all right.
Yeah, it's been. I've been like every Sunday. I've just been wiped. So it's just.
No, I don't blame you. So do you need people like? Do we want to? I can bring a Super Nintendo Mini Classic, and we can set up like 2 or I don't know. Are we gonna have TVs?
So for the time that we have, I have a 19-inch TV, like LCD, smaller TV.
Yeah.
I was thinking that we either, plug in a SNES Classic or plug in a Switch to it with a dock.
Is someone bringing a dock? Because I wasn't bringing my dock.
So I might be able to bring a projector too that we can put on a wall. But
that'd be good.
Yeah.
For
I just don't. Like we at one point we asked them about a projector and a screen, and they cited additional costs.
Oh God.
For it, so my I'm lenient, or I'm not lenient. I'm hesitant to bring in a projector when we basically tell them no, we don't want a projector. You know.
We gotta roll.
I don't see why. Do you really think they're going to be like hounding us all day?
No, I would hope not. I mean, we're getting them 15 rooms worth of business.
I would think we could just set up our projector and call it, and then maybe we could just ask forgiveness.
And they wouldn't be responsible for damages at that point either. Like they wouldn't have like.
I'm just I mean,
they would be responsible.
A lot of it is me being nervous about because it isn't my card that they have on file; it's somebody else's card that they have on file.
Yeah.
So
they wouldn't have to risk having their equipment damaged, is what I was getting at.
Sure.
I guess I would suggest that we bring it, or if Ryan is willing to bring it, and then we get a feel for the hotel and what's going on, and then we'll have it if we need it. If we don't feel it's safe to use, then.
Oh yeah, I'm also afraid that we're going to get a wall that's not exactly projector friendly. It's going to have like goofy wall textures and stuff, but
just check with the venue at this point, right? On that, like check how that would work if you were to bring your own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose I can. The thing about asking is if they say absolutely not, then
you can't bring it. Yeah.
Well, if you ask and you get the negative, then you're out of luck. Yeah.
So what I could do, I'm getting there Thursday. I can go take a look at the room and see if there's a good spot for it. Because if there's not a good spot for it, then
he doesn't need to bring it.
Then don't bother, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When are you coming down, Ryan? Friday. Yeah. Okay.
And then when are you gonna So when are you gonna do the prelims? Like Friday?
So that's what I was thinking. We could do them Friday night. It would just be at this point, if it's 8 people, that's 4 matchups.
Yeah.
So it's just a single elimination then.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? You get the one shot and that's it. It's just a bracket. You just move forward.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it sounds like everyone is kind of in this boat right now of just being. I haven't played much, or it's just like there's no one who's like, yeah, I'm gonna destroy all of you, which I suppose is good.
They're all hustling.
No, I'm not hustling. I love fighting games, but I've never been good at Street Fighter. It is like my worst fighting game of all. And I like the characters and I understand the mechanics, but especially with the 16-bit versions, like the home console ports, that's like the worst ports for me. I mean, I have the 30th anniversary and I played much better with the fight stick, but controllers with Street Fighter with me are just not good. So like I'm not confident in my gameplay of Street Fighter at all. I've never been good at it, and I still am not good at it. So.
Yeah, me neither. I've never even played Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've 10, 15 minutes here a couple times, but
yeah,
Mortal Kombat 2, I'd be more comfortable.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur, I'd be more comfortable, but not Street Fighter.
Yep.
I don't know why, but like at one point I was playing it. I've never really been good at it either, but I don't know. I think I was focusing on like this special moves for some reason, and I kept getting my ass out of me because I couldn't pull enough off fast enough. And then I'm like, oh, I should probably get used to actually doing combos, like normal combos on top of that. And that helped me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Either I'm just really terrible, or that was just kind of a weird mental switch I had to flip.
Do combos exist in Street Fighter Turbo?
If you can pull them off.
Yeah.
Not like necessarily like full combos, but just kind of like using regular moves more frequently, I mean.
Okay. I know there
are some you can string together. Or they just happen to work well in quick succession.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that one thing to click to get better at a game. Like odd example.
Funny thing is, like, I don't experience this really much with like Darksiders, and that's very much Street Fighter, but with Halloween characters.
You mean Darkstalkers, not Darksiders?
Nope.
Darksiders is not a fighting game.
I know, that was a joke.
I know.
Okay.
Took me a second to get it, but yeah. Anyway, but just like an odd example of just a mental switch flip was Rise of Honor. Of all games, like I was trying to play like it aggressively, but the way that game works, it doesn't really work. You have to kind of play defensively with the combat. That just made me think of that.
That's the greatest hit, and I was gonna say I've never seen that game before in my life.
Yeah, Jet Li's Rise to Honor. That is very weird. You do the martial arts with the right analog stick. The final boss in that game is Hell. But I've beaten it.
Like the Hell is in Hell with devils and whatnot?
No, it's just hell to play.
Mm.
You're fighting a guy on top of a building. How else would that game end?
I don't know. Boss named Hell.
To be fair, I don't remember what the boss's name was. It's like a super fast Matrix kick fight. It was madness. Sorry, go ahead, Melissa.
No, it's okay. Sorry. I was just going to say, I didn't say anything on the forums, but I would probably guess that the girls would want to in on it, like on the, like put them in first to like eliminate them, but they would probably want to like try it out just to be.
Wait, you mean our kids?
Yes.
You want to put our kids in the Street Fighter tournament?
They're going to want to like.
You want me to beat them real good? Teach them
are you sure? They've never seen a game like that.
I know, but they'd want to just be involved, right?
Okay.
I mean, I have a feeling
put them against each other, and then like I don't know, like
one of them can
anime
move on to
or something.
I was gonna do a totally random poll, just to be fair, but it can fall however it needs to fall.
All right, I don't know. Melissa and I have not conversed on this subject of them playing Street Fighter.
Are you worried about the violence?
Now they're talking about. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to offend my wife. They're talking about Street Fighter, not Streets of Rage.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Come on, Street Fighter is pretty damn tame. The only time you see blood is when you see like their face smashed up after losing a fight.
No,
It's no Mortal Kombat.
I don't think they're interested. I'm not sure they're even aware that such a genre of game exists.
You should stream it during your on your Sunday deal.
Sunday stream.
I would love to let you let your kids play Mortal Kombat 2.
No. Game is
how
too
old's the
disgusting.
oldest?
11.
Oh yeah, I was playing Mortal Kombat before 11 years old.
You were not helping your case. No.
Chris says maybe Street Fighter the movie, the game.
My father encouraged I play Mortal Kombat because he wanted to see all the hype from like all the 2020 specials,
Here, son, play this. Let me see how it corrupts you.
Yeah, like my favorite story to tell is that the guy asked, my dad was checking out, and the guy said like, "There's a code for blood for the Genesis version." He said, "Do you want the code for blood I have?" And my dad's like, "Yes, I want to see this." So good times.
You had it on the Genesis then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. Even though losing was like mind blowing to me as a kid, like seeing your head get ripped off. I was like, wow, man, this is.
I was offended. Yeah, I was like, this game is really violent.
Yeah.
And I was a bit older than you, I'm sure.
Good times.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat. That was all right. I think I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we should go put the kids to bed.
Yes, you should.
Oh, at some point, Eric, Melissa, I should let you know about my October plans.
Okay.
Yeah. At some point. We don't talk about it.
At some point.
Just a quick question before we wrap up. Is, like, since we started like an hour earlier than we have been recently, is the 6 o'clock Pacific time preferable to the 7, or?
It's not necessarily for me, but I can join late. I don't get home from work. I was still at work until 6:30, so 7 is preferable to me, but I can just join late if you guys start early.
Yeah.
This one, Duke specifically reached out to me and said, "Hey, I think I can make the Hangout tonight." And so I was like, "Okay." Plus, I didn't have the kids, so
okay.
But I only moved it up to 7 just because that seemed like when people were hopping on at the time. So figured I'd ask.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I'm still in football, softball season right now, so it's I'm gonna be joining later regardless of when you start it. So.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if that helped you.
No, I'll probably do like a poll or something.
Yeah.
Probably not.
So are we doing this? So next week is the Tuesday before the thing, right? Next week's the last week? Okay.
Yeah. And then we were thinking maybe the week following, which you guys will still be in Chicago.
We'll still be in,
So this might not matter then for you, but we were considering maybe not Tuesday.
You could always come up here and do the show from here.
That's true.
Do what show?
We have a spare bedroom.
I don't know. Without the mirror wall, I'm not as.
Yeah, that's interesting. You can see what the mess I've done.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, we'll talk to you guys next week then.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Sounds good.
Be a blast.
Night.
Later.
Bye.
All right.